Good afternoon, everyone. This is Scott Harlow and Scott Halliburton coming to you from the Bentonville Community Center in Bentonville, Arkansas for the 2020-2021 Arkansas State Swimming Championships for the boys in Class 6A. Starting off first today, we'll have the boys 200-yard medley relay, and we'll have 2 heats of that. Go ahead and run down the teams in the first heat here. So heat 1 of 2. In lane 3, we'll have Bryant. In lane 4, we'll have Little Rock Catholic High School. In lane 5, we'll have Fayetteville. And in lane 6, we'll have Rogers Heritage. So as you're watching on the screens, the lanes are numbered left to right, 1 to 8.
Well, we're really looking forward to an exciting meet. As we projected the points and talking to Bentonville coach Mark Gohl and Liz Braun, I think it's looking like it's within 4 or 6 points between Little Rock Central and Bentonville, with Little Rock Central a little bit ahead. So it's anytime anybody moves up, that's going to make a big difference. And the women's meet this morning was very exciting. Leanne Yu from Bentonville set a couple state records, and with relays won 4 events overall. And we graduated a lot of talent last year in Bentonville for the boys. You have Ty Wingert and Ryan Husband going to Auburn, and several others going to the next level. But we have got a couple of freshmen today, and Gage Johnson from Bentonville and Connor Boatwright from Harbor that are fantastic and seeded first in a couple of different events.
Yep. At the start.
Well, we have the medley relay. The strokes in this, it's a 50 or 2 lengths of each stroke, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle in that order. And they start with the backstrokers in the water. So as we go in this first heat, these are time finals. These swimmers could technically win the race, but usually the faster heats are the faster seeds. It looks like in lane 6 we have Heritage with, actually it was lane 5, Fayetteville with a slight lead after the backstroke. Looks like Fayetteville's extending that lead in the breaststroke, followed closely by Catholic. Bryant's in lane 3, and Heritage, Rogers Heritage, is in lane 6. So you'll see the lead change with different swimmers as they go on. Looks like lane 4 is coming back a little bit. That's Catholic. And Catholic is now in the lead after breaststroke. Going into the butterfly, we have, and again, time finals. These people can post the fastest time. So as they come into the turn on the butterfly, we have 2 more legs, butterfly and freestyle. Looks like the extending the lead is Catholic, and not far behind is Fayetteville. Important points, relay points are double. You get 20 points for first, 17 for second, 16 on down to 1 to 16th place. And the relays are worth double, so a championship in the relays is worth 40 points, so obviously critically important. And there's 2 heats of this. Looks like Catholic is going to prevail in this first heat, with Fayetteville coming in second. Pretty good time, 1:42.53. That's pretty good time. That's just a few seconds. That would have been 4th or 5th overall.
Yeah.
So good time in there. The state record in this event was set in 2017. The team of Zane Sutton, Hayden Harlow, Ryan Husband, and Simon Moody, 1:34.19. So that's quite an impressive state record. I think that was an All-American time, and probably don't expect that to be threatened. But Bentonville and Central probably put together pretty good teams in this medley relay. Nice time to beat there with Catholic establishing a good time in the first heat.
In heat 2 of the 200-yard medley relay, we have in lane 1, Springdale High School. Lane 2, Conway. Lane 3, Cabot. Lane 4, Bentonville High School. Lane 5, North Little Rock. Lane 6, Little Rock Central. Lane 7, Springdale Harbor. And in lane 8, Bentonville West.
Last year in this event, Conway won this medley relay. Bentonville was 3rd and Little Rock Central was 2nd. We have Bentonville out to a slight lead in the backstroke. looked like that was Dean that led that off. They have a good breaststroke. It looks like maybe Gavin Husband there. And Bentonville's got a slight lead, hopefully getting to establish some critical points in there. Bentonville's extending their lead as the breaststroker will turn it over to the butterflyer. Look, I can't really see. That might be Jake Noble getting up there. No, it's another swimmer, but Bentonville has a lead over lane 5, which is North Little Rock. Little Rock Central and Conway are both close for third. Bentonville appears to be extending that lead, and Bentonville looks like the team to beat in this first medley relay. They'll be hard to beat with the freestyler coming in here. Looks like that's Evan Carter going in for the freestyle leg. So quite a good turnover. North Little Rock is in second right now, but it looks like Bentonville's going to take this opening event, which they were seated first in, which is the 200 medley relay. Conway is moving up. It looks like Conway might grab second. Bentonville, time of 1:36.79, great time. Conway second. Third is North Little Rock, and fourth is Little Rock Central. So some valuable points in that, 40 points for Bentonville, and that's just how they were seated. So between Bentonville and Little Rock Central, there's not much change in points. They got the points they were seated in. What happens in this meet is that for obvious reasons of social distancing and not having too many crowded people here, is they are having 12 minutes between events. And normally the boys and girls swim together, but for obvious reasons they're swimming separately. So they'll have these gaps to allow the swimmers to get their adequate rest. Also, they normally have the top 6 on the podium. They're just giving the kids the awards and nobody on the podium. Obviously, that's for social distancing reasons. Really we have a lot of good sponsors. You want to go over those sponsors, Scott?
Absolutely. Our sponsors this year include Jimmy John's, the Centennial Bank, and then Farm Bureau of Arkansas. We certainly appreciate their support.
And basically a lot of credit to Bentonville High School, the Bentonville Community Center, and really the AAA for getting this meet off and established. And there's a lot of hurdles that had to be done. Kind of officials and volunteers are bringing in parents to watch their parents and relatives. I think each swimmer gets 2 passes for people to see them swim, and they're bringing those people in and not overcrowding at any one time. So really a lot of work being done by a lot of people. But Bentonville High School, the Tigers are off to a good start, and it's very good. The next event's the 200 free. The state record's held by Ryan Husband, who just competed his freshman year at Auburn University at the SEC Championships last week. And that time is 1:39.03, and that's the next event. And each event's going to be critically important as you points. It's going to be very close between Little Rock Central and Bentonville, the 2 favors. And it's going to be a close battle for third as well.
Some good young talent coming up in this next event as well, Scott. I mean, you've got, like you mentioned earlier, Connor Boatwright for Harbor, only 14 years old coming into this. He's, I think, the 2nd seed in this event. Certainly expecting big things from him the next few years.
Yeah, Connor's a great swimmer. He's been nationally ranked since he was 12. He's seated first in the 500, and at conference he went his best time, not even rested. So. He's seated at 4:37 in the 500. We expect him to go faster today.
Yep.
And he won't threaten Antonio Thomas's overall state record this year, but probably is in range to get that. And he's been a good swimmer for a long time. I really enjoy watching him swim. He's got a really smooth stroke, and
he does.
He's a really good freshman.
Great
Also,
kick too. And to go along with him is Gage Johnson and Caleb Guthrie, 2 more 14-year-old freshmen here. Yeah,
and Gage Johnson, his mom runs the swim outlet, or the swim shop here in Bentonville, and his dad swam at his uncle swam at the U of A. He's really sprout up. He's about 6'5" now, and he keeps growing every time I see him. So he's seated first in the 100 back coming up, and he's seated 6th in this 200 free. So it should be some good races, not to mention for Bentonville, Gage is going to contribute mightily in some of those relay events, and hopefully get that score going. But yeah, Connor Boatwright is seated 2nd. He's a heavy favorite in the 500 later. But as much as he's been improving, usually at that age, a lot of the teams will taper or rest and try to hit their peak at this event. Connor's been going best times during the year, so he'll probably go even faster here. I don't think he'll threaten those state records just yet, but in the future he'll probably get both of them.
I would imagine, yeah. And so the top seed in this next event in Heat 2 is Jack Forrest from Little Rock Central, coming in with a time of 1:43.93. So the 200 free, Scott, is kind of one of those what you might consider middle distance events. You can't go a full sprint the entire 200, but you also can't let up too much either, right?
Yeah, Mark likes to have his swimmers, Mark Gohl, one of the Bentonville coaches and the coach of the NWAA Sharks, he likes to have them even split that as close as possible. That's kind of how I swam it when I swam it. This was my favorite freestyle event. Way back in the day, I won the Missouri State titles in this a couple years in a row, but in general, you'll see a variance of speed. You have some sprinters trying to hang on to go at 200 free and might go out a little faster. You have some people that would even split that. So it's kind of a long sprint, but you can't go all out. You have to pace yourself and bring your legs in the right time and make sure you breathe enough the first half of the race.
Well, if the listening audience can't tell, you're the one that brings the swimming credentials to the table here.
Well, thank you. I've got too many years, 50 years of experience doing it. But my brother and I came, from swimming family, and my brother started swimming because he broke his arm, and they recommend that to strengthen it, and he ended up making the 1980 Olympic team. So I followed in his footsteps kind of at the same age and really enjoy the sport and still swim today. I swim masters and get in and try to hold on against the Sharks. I mean, I don't swim their same workouts, but I swim a few lanes over, and it's fun and hopefully a good influence for them to see somebody still involved in the sport.
Well, and to that point, I think it's one of the few sports where you can actually do that your entire life and get in, and
maybe golf would be like that, but
maybe,
yeah, but it's not as hard on your body. I've been fortunate not to have any injuries, but still really like the sport and really like watching everybody get faster every year. I mean, if somebody, competing, and we had a lot of talent here in Arkansas, so. There's a lot of events and a lot of people from Arkansas still swimming. So it's fun to watch and fun to observe and fun to watch how the Bentonville coaches train the team to go faster and faster.
So speaking of fast, I think we mentioned this morning that this is probably considered a fast pool, right?
Right. It was built in 2015 when the facility opened, and what makes a fast pool is, the gutters, kind of a one-way gutter to drain the water out and not come back. There's resistance to the swimmers. Also, the deeper part, they have a shallow part here for obvious reasons because this is a multi-purpose facility. But, at the deep end where they start, it's a nice and deep, and the tile pool tends to be a little faster. And it's overall been a good facility, and it's pretty fast. Probably faster for the people in the lead. It's not a 50-meter facility or 9 feet deep like some of the championship pools that you'll see. But certainly that's one of the reasons we see some of the fast times in this area because of the quality of this facility.
Well, after the first event there of the boys 200-yard medley relay, plus the diving points that have been accumulated to this point, we do have a team score I can provide you with. Currently in first place, we have Conway High School with 82 points. In second place, you have Bentonville West High School with 74 points. In third place, you have Bentonville High School with 49. In fourth place, Fayetteville High School with 43. Fifth place, we have North Little Rock High School with 32 points. In sixth place, Central High School with 30. In seventh, you have Catholic High School with 29. In eighth place, Cabot with 28. Then you have Springdale with 25, Harbor with 22, Bryant with 19, Rogers Heritage with 10, and Rogers High School with 2.
Yeah, and the diving really influenced that. Believe that Conway and Bentonville West each had 4 divers who scored 48 points.
They did, yeah.
For that, so that's gone a long way for their total. But again, we expect a very close meet overall, and just some good friendly competition between Little Rock Central and Bentonville High School. Are we on break or are we on?
We're on, but I think it's
commercial.
Skipping, modulating.
So we may be experiencing some technical difficulties with the signal. Bear with us. Well, as you mentioned, Scott, the state record holder in this next event, the 200 freestyle, is Ryan Husband, set back 2 years ago. He's currently a freshman at Auburn University. I think Auburn, if I remember correctly, has a reputation for good sprint freestyle coaching. And
yeah, that was back when Dave Marsh was the coach. They won 16 SEC titles in a row. And a little bit down currently. Florida has surpassed them since Dave Marsh has moved on.
Kentucky's
yeah,
really well
and
too.
But Auburn, great facility, great program, and Ryan went of his 3 events, went two best times at the SEC championships. But he wanted to go a little faster. I was talking to his mom Melanie earlier, and she said he was pleased. He can't argue a best time, but he wanted to go a little faster. And probably as he adjusts to college swimming, he'll probably go faster next year. So getting used to the competition and different things. And
well, they tend to put on some muscle mass after the first couple of years, and that taper pays off.
Yeah, Gavin Lindley just walked in front of us. He's a swimmer that won 2 state titles last year for Benton County School of the Arts, transferred to Bentonville, and he has to sit out this year. But he would have won the 100 back today, but
junior national qualifier.
Correct. He will probably compete for Bentonville next year. So looking forward to seeing him there. And again, this 200 free should be an excellent race coming up here. And Little Rock Central is going to have they have 3 of the top 4 seeds. So they expect to gather some points here, but. In the championship, in the last heat, you have Bentonville with 2 swimmers, Bentonville West with 1, Cabot with 1. And so Little Rock Central is hoping to make up for not having any divers and a little bit not as good as showing in medley relay. Other 2 relays will probably be really strong, but this sets up to be a very good race. And each time a Little Rock Central or Bentonville swimmer swims, it's going to be critically important.
Quiet at the start, like a golf putt.
One of the reasons they're probably taking some gaps is there have been a couple late scratches due to COVID, and they're making sure the athletes are in the proper lane. There's an empty lane you'll see here, but that's one of the reasons for the delay.
In the water for heat 1 of 2 of the 200-yard freestyle, we have in lane 1, Aaron Tong from Bentonville. Lane 2, Wilson from Conway. Lane 3, McElroy from Cabot. Lane 4, Manti from Fayetteville. Lane 5, Shaven from Harbor. Lane 6, Michael Potts from North Little Rock. And in lane 7, Cannon from Little Rock Central.
Great, and out to the early lead, Matthew Wilson in lane 2. Looks like he has that out in 24.86. Also lane 3, McElroy from Cabot. So they got a pretty good swim going. We might hear the name Tong a few times. Aaron Tong from Bentonville is a sophomore. His brother Caleb is a senior. So swimming being a family sport, they get in there together. Lane 2 is kind of extending the lead. That's Matthew Wilson. And he's turning 100 at about 52 seconds. That's split of 26.6 from Conway. He is starting to extend in his lead. There is followed closely by lane 3, which is Curtis McElroy, and lane 4, Daniel Manti from Fayetteville. So Conway picking up some early points here. A lot of the times you'll see the people pick it up the second 100. This, it looks like Matthew Wilson is no different than that. He's turned that 50 and 28.8. And has a lead. Again, his time, he wants to go as fast as possible to move up and get some points for his team, the Conway Wampus Cats, as they go into the second heat. But in general, a lot of people standing behind the blocks cheering their athletes on. And it looks like that Matthew Wilson has got a comfortable lead in this first heat. And it's going to go a pretty good time. Looks like he dropped quite a bit of time. 150.58 for him. That would have been, that would be fourth in the next heat. We'll see what they go in the next heat. Second in that heat was lane 4, which was Daniel Manti from Fayetteville. Third was lane 1, Aaron Tong, moving up for Bentonville Tigers. Getting some valuable points for them. So we'll see how that holds up in the next heat. And we expect a pretty good race between the center lanes with Jack Forrest from Little Rock Central and Connor Boatwright from Harbor.
In the water in heat 2 of 2 for the 200-yard freestyle, we have in lane 1, Rodney Thomas from Bentonville High School. Lane 2, Caleb Guthrie from Bentonville West. Lane 3, Aladami from Little Rock Central. Lane 4, Jack Forrest from Little Rock Central. Lane 5, Connor Boatwright from Harbor. Lane 6, Nguyen from Little Rock Central. Lane 7, Cage Johnson from Bentonville. And in lane 8, Fulcher from Cabot.
Looks like Jack Forrest is setting the early pace out in 22.9. Very good split going out. Followed closely by Connor Boatwright. Connor splits his races usually pretty good. And I would think that Jack wants to get a lead to hold off Connor. Connor's a pretty good distance swimmer and probably will make a move on him. But lane 3, Little Rock Central teammate is pacing right there with Jack. Jack is out in under 50 seconds. 29 for that split. And his teammate is right next to him. Connor Boatwright has some ground to make up, but Jack Forrest tends to be extending his lead here. As far as the other swimmers, looks like Rodney Thomas from Bentonville is right about his seat, and Gage Johnson also trying to move up, swimming right next to Matthew Guillen from Little Rock Central. Little Rock Central has 3 of the top 4 seeds. And Jack Forrest and Connor Boatwright are in quite a race here right now. Jack Forrest still slightly ahead. Connor's got the kick going and is gaining on him fast. We look at it, and Jack Forrest kind of beat Connor a little bit on that turn. Looks like he's going to hold him off, and Connor Boatwright, the freshman, is going to be second in this event. But 141.16, pretty good time. Improved on his seat time. Second, Connor Boatwright, a lifetime best, 142.95. Third is also Little Rock Central, Lay Adalami, so very good. Fourth with Gage Johnson moving up for Bentonville. Fifth was Matthew Guillen for Little Rock Central. And sixth in lane 8 would have been Colton Fulcher from Cabot. So those are the podium, and some pretty good times there. Bentonville moving up in the standings once again. So we've had a couple pretty good races and some good time drops here. Probably both lifetime best for those athletes competing in that 200 freestyle.
So we're going to cut to some commercials here during the between the events, and we'll come back with the boys 200-yard IM.
In this part of the country, it's a way of life. You're going about your day without a cloud in the sky. Then suddenly, you find yourself wondering how solid your home really is. With nearly 25 years of certified experience, let our team give you the same assurance on a stormy night that you feel on a clear afternoon. Before the downpour, before the leaks, call Foster Roofing, serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley since 1994.
Foster Roofing has been helping Arkansas homeowners weather every storm for over 25 years. If your roof was damaged by the recent storm, be aware that out-of-state roofing companies may try to pose as local businesses. Choose an Arkansas state licensed local company for your roof repair. Choose Foster Roofing.
It could happen to me.
It could happen to me.
It could happen to me.
It could happen to me. It could happen to me.
It did happen to me.
A heat stroke can happen to anyone, and it's 100% preventable. Always remember, prehydrate, hydrate, and rehydrate. For more tips on proper hydration, go to kendrickfincher.org.
At Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale, we understand that life is too short to spend hours in an ER waiting room. And we know that in an emergency, minutes really do matter. So our entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a clinical professional in 30 minutes or less, because we think you should spend less time waiting and more time feeling better. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, only at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale.
Okay, coming up next, like we said before, the boys 200-yard IM. We have 3 heats there. The current state record holder back in 2016 was Hayden Harlow with a time of 1:50.44.
Yeah, we have 3 heats, so we had 17 athletes make the state qualifying time here. One of those isn't going to score. Ethan Chris is seated 17th, so he'll have to move up for Bentonville to score some points. But we also have a lot of returning athletes from last year. In that last heat, I think all of them placed. The winner of that is since graduated, but you have Philip Stanley, who got in 3rd last year. Ken Brumfeld is 4th. Ozzie Melton is 5th. Gavin Husband was 6th. And Stephen Dean was 11th. So a lot of repeat swimmers in this event last year. The individual medley is contested of all 4 strokes. So butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle in that order. So you'll see different lead changes and different people taking the lead as they have different disciplines that are their strength and things. The other thing is we had a lot less meets this year in swimming, and so you might see more of the swimmers from the outside lanes winning, where usually it's the swimmers from the center. They have the top seed times, but just because there weren't as much meets. Example coming up in the 100 back, which is near the end of the meet, Andrew Rogers is going to be in lane 7. He's the defending champion, so probably didn't get that many chances to swim that, but qualified, and that we'll see that later. But in general, we expect a pretty close race in this 200 individual medley. Philip Stanley, the lead qualifier from North Little Rock. Cole Groom from Bentonville West. Really a tenacious athlete that swims for Bentonville West and really trains very well. He's been faster in this in club meets, so it should be a nice race towards the center of the pool there, and we'll see how it is. Gavin Husband's been swimming really well too, so he is the younger brother of Ryan Husband, who was on the Tigers last year.
And I see Yusuf Bagat there in lane 3 in the final heat. He's, I think, currently ranked as the #1 recruit coming out of Arkansas in 2 years of the 2022 class. So a lot of talent certainly stacked here in this event. I see one name of note, Nyden Hill. I think he's currently committed to go swim at Gustavus Adolphus College. So we'll try to mention those as we see them.
And it's going to be critically important. It's just every event, but every swimmer trying to put their best foot forward. I know that Gavin Husband has decided he wants to swim in college, but he's undecided on a college yet. So we'll see where he wants to major in pharmacy, and we'll see where that might lead him. Obviously, these swimmers, they're on the same teams, push each other in practice every day, and hopefully that leads to a great performance here. But 200 IM is a very interesting race, kind of a sprint of each stroke, and we'll see several lead changes. And if you notice, the people in the white shirts at the side of the pool are the officials to make sure that everybody's doing everything technically proficient and no disqualifications. So
Scott, I've often heard swimmers say that there's an advantage to really good breaststrokers in this event. Is that right for the IM?
Oh, definitely so. And I think one of the things, if you can get hit on breaststroke and you get to freestyle sooner, you're going to swim faster and get a little bit of an advantage. Maybe that's why I was never good at IM, or I never was good at breaststroke. But in general, I do think it's a breaststroker's race, but then there's exceptions to that too. There is, I think the breaststrokers have an advantage. If we saw Leanne Yu earlier today set the state record, and she's good in all 4 strokes. Sure. Doesn't have a weak stroke, but what's her strongest stroke? It's breaststroke. Yep. So Hayden Harlow, the same way. He was good in all 4 strokes. Probably backstroke was his weakest, but breast was his strong one, and that benefited him greatly. So certainly an advantage on that. And I think what you need to do is fly is first, and that's the most strenuous stroke, is relax but still get fast on that. Make sure you catch your breath, and backstroke, get ready for a good breaststroke turn and push that, and then hang on with what you got left for the freestyle. So easier said than done. But when they do it right, it's pretty to watch. You watch somebody like Michael Phelps, maybe breaststroke was his weakest, but he didn't have a weak stroke. He had won national championships in fly, back, and free. He even finaled in the 200 breast at senior nationals before. So very interesting to see and fun to watch. So we'll be quiet for the start of the heat 1.
So in the water for heat 1 of 3 for the 200-yard IM, we have in lane 3, Ethan Chris from Bentonville High School. In lane 4, Bowen from Cabot. And in lane 5, Ashley from Catholic.
As we see on the butterfly, all 3 athletes are pretty close together. Ethan Chris from Bentonville, he's a really good distance swimmer. He's done several open water races and stuff, and he likes the longer races. 200 IM is a tougher race, and we see in here that all 3 athletes are within a half a second of each other. Ethan's got a good kick going, and he's got a slight lead as he goes into the backstroke over Bowen from Cabot and Ashley from Little Rock Catholic. So Ethan, after that turn, extended a little bit further and has got a lead going into the breaststroke leg. Again, trying to score points for his team, as the other 2 athletes are as well. As they come up in breaststroke, they do an underwater pull and come up swimming breaststroke. Looks like lane 5, which is Lawson Ashley, is moving up and moving ahead of Ethan as they come for the turn. We've seen a lot more swimmers at the end of the pool really supporting their athletes. I think it's because it's projected to be close, not only for first and second, but for third, fourth, and fifth. And those athletes know that a little encouragement's going to go a long way. But it looks like that Lawson Ashley from Catholic has got a slight lead going into freestyle. Ethan Chris, a good freestyler and good distance swimmer, second, followed by Bowen from Cabot, who's third. As they come in the last turn, it looks like Lawson Ashley is going to win this heat. Ethan Chris trying to hold on for second. And again, one of these, if these times hold up, one of these athletes won't score. So pretty important to get some points. A time of 2:02, not a bad time in the individual medley. Ethan Chris, 2:07 for second, and third in 2:08.27 is Bowen from Cabot. So pretty good. Those times should move them up a little bit, but we probably expect the next couple of heats to drop time as well.
In the water, heat 2 of 3 for the 200-yard IM. We have in lane 2, Daniel Moore from Little Rock Central. Lane 3, McCallum from Little Rock Central. Lane 4, Tisher from Harbor. Lane 5, Booth from Bentonville West. Lane 6, Wickland from Rogers. Lane 7, Nightingale from Conway.
Looks like in lane 4 you have Maxwell Tisher from Harbor with a slight lead on the butterfly. Very close across the field though. So let's see who's coming in backstroke. Lane 6 in backstroke, that's Aaron Wickland from Rogers High School that's taking the lead in backstroke and pushing that off. Looks like he's got a strong backstroke and is using that to his advantage for Aaron Wickland from Rogers. Got the lead after the backstroke. Just under a minute there. So as they swim into breaststroke, still in the lead is Aaron Wickland from Rogers. Lane 3 making a move. That's Colin McCallum from Little Rock Central. Little Rock Central's got a couple athletes here and hoping they hope to move up. And still it's Aaron Wickland leading. Colin McCallum from Little Rock Central has moved up on breaststroke, and then lane 5, Spencer Booth from Bentonville West has also moved up as they head into the freestyle lane. Looks like Aaron Wickland's going to win this second heat. Followed closely by Spencer Booth from Bentonville West, a senior, and Colin McCallum from Little Rock Central moving up. getting valuable points for his team. But it's Aaron Wickland's looking like a pretty good time here as he comes into the freestyle length. Going to break 2 minutes, 1:57.46, striking almost 10 seconds off his seed time, which is fantastic. Second place with 2:02 is Spencer Booth from Bentonville West. Third from Little Rock Central is McCallum. And points for those schools, those times, the lead time, which is 1:57.46, would be third going into the last heat. We expect these athletes to drop time as well. But very close score here, and we expect Philip Stanley and Cole Groom to have a good race here in the 200 IM.
In the water for the final heat of the 200-yard IM, we have in lane 1, Stephen Dean from Bentonville. Lane 2, Kevin Brumfield from Springdale. Lane 3, Youssef Bagat from Little Rock Central. Lane 4, Philip Stanley from North Little Rock. Lane 5, Cole Groom from Bentonville West. Lane 6, Gavin Husband from Bentonville. Lane 7, Milton from Cabot. And in lane 8, Jack Woodard from Fayetteville.
Philip Stanley with the lead after Butterfly. You talk about it being a breaststroker race, Scott. Cole Groom and Gavin Husband are both fantastic breaststrokers. We'll see how that does for them. Kevin Broomfield moving up from Springdale in the backstroke. But still in the center of the pool in lane 4, it's Philip Stanley from North Little Rock. But it looks like he's giving up the lead to Kevin Brumfield from Springdale. And he's going to be the lead after backstroke. Those two are tied as they go into backstroke. In the breaststroke, we expect Cole Groom and Gavin Husband to move up. And they're starting to do so. Very good breaststrokers. And but Kevin Brumfield in lane 2 is still holding on. So very close race. Very important in the team score here. He got Gavin Husband in lane 6. Looks like he's taking the lead. Wow, with a great breaststroke. He's been swimming great in practice, and Cole Groom is going right with him. They swim against each other every day in practice, but it looks like Gavin Husband's got the lead going into here. I'm sure his brother Ryan is cheering him on. That's Gavin Husband with the lead. In lane 4, that's Philip Stanley coming back. It's very close. A lot of athletes cheering on, limiting my visibility, but it looks like that Philip Stanley is going to win this. Gavin Husband is right looking for second, and it's lane 4, 1:53.06, and that's Philip Stanley with North Little Rock. Second, Gavin Husband, 1:53.68. That's a lifetime best. Third in lane 2, Kevin Brumfield from Springdale, and fourth, Cole Groom from Bentonville West at 1:54.86. I believe all those are best times. Very good swim. They pushed each other to some good performances there. Bentonville with Gavin Husband moving up, scoring some valuable points for them. Stephen Dean was 8th in the heat. It looks like somebody from the heat before him beat him, so he won't be in the top 8. But in general, a great race. A lot of lead changes. You had Philip Stanley leading after fly, Kevin Brumfield after back, Gavin Husband after breast, and Philip Stanley came back to take it in the freestyle.
So we have 12 minutes again before the next event, which was the 50-yard freestyle. We'll have 2 heats in that event.
And I'm just looking at the scores, and they've just updated them. Looks like we have Bentonville and Bentonville West tied for first with 107 points. Little Rock Central with 102. Conway 98, Fayetteville 62 for the top 5. Really a close race. North Little Rock in 6th with 57, Cabot 7th at 55, Harbor in 56, Springdale 41, and Catholic rounding out the top 10 with 35. And we'll keep saying those scores because we expect a real close race. We have Bentonville Athletic Director Scott Passmore just to my left here, watching and kind of getting updates from us here and taking an interest. That was quite a good race, Scott, on that IM. I know that was pretty fun to watch with all the lead changes there.
It certainly was, and it's a perfect example of in the team race how just one position higher, 2 positions higher for an individual can make a big difference in the team score when it's so close.
Scott Passmore was just checking with me on the updated score that I looked up via Meet Mobile. For those of you watching the broadcast, you probably can do that yourself and not take our Wi-Fi space. We've, with the technical difficulties we had this morning, we had to get a hotspot because everybody's looking at Meet Mobile and looking at the updates in. And then certain people are looking at other meets around the country. You have the Big 12 championship swimming going on. You have the Big 10 women's going on, and a lot of people having their eyes on other things. So the Wi-Fi was overloaded a little bit here in the Bentonville Community Center this morning, and we tried to take accommodations with a hotspot here to make sure that we can broadcast all of you listening.
So Scott, you know, the next event coming up is the 50 free. I know we've talked before about strategy in the distance events. Is there much strategy in the sprint events, like in a 50? Is it just? There
is some strategy, and what that strategy is when to breathe. So, you know, a lot of the elite athletes, if you breathe, it takes 15 seconds for you to get the effect of any breath. So in other words, if you're going to breathe on the 50, you should breathe on the first length and then hold your breath for the second length. That's easier said than done, but I know that the coaches work on that within reason. And the strategy is you're going to go as fast as possible and really concentrate on your kick, concentrate on keeping your head steady, and concentrate on not breathing and breathing at that right spot. And the key is kind of the start, turn, and the finish. And all those, Ty Wingfield, who swam for Conway last year, was great at it. In fact, he has the state record at 20.36. Had a good start, had a good turn, had a good finish, and and stroking really fast. As we see, Lindsay Hammond for Little Rock Central earlier won the girls' events, and she had a much different tempo for the 50 than she did for the 100. Very fast on both, but really turned it over. And that's what you want to do, but you don't want to slip in the water. You want to make sure you're pulling back a lot of water and just a fast tempo to make sure that you're going quick.
So when they talk about catching water with your hands and your forearm, and I mean, it's got to be probably even extra important when an event is only, you know, 20 plus seconds long, right?
If you watch the best in the world, which is Caleb Dressel, he doesn't bring in any air with his hands, and he catches the water perfectly and pushes it back. One misconception that people, when they watch swimming, is basically your hand goes and stays in the same place, and you pull yourself through that hand position. So where you put your hand in, and that's why Mark Gohl and the NWAA Sharks work so much on stroke drills, because it's very important of where you place your hand, and that's going to give you all the momentum. You also, in a 50, you want to turn over, but your strongest part of your stroke is the back end as you come out of the water. If you notice a good butterfly, you always see them push back and their hands flip up. And that's because they're really extending that. So you got to turn over, but really not cut the power part of your stroke out. So easier said than done. You know, generally the strategy is to concentrate, keep your head straight, keep your technique good, and don't breathe. It's kind of how that would work.
Like you said, easier said than done.
Yeah, and you know, we have a lot of young people in this race. Typically the 50 leads to a little bit more experience, and that's because as you get stronger, you get better at that event. So I see quite a few seniors in this last heat. You got a senior from Cabot, McDonough, and then you have Duncan Troop from Conway and Caleb Tong from Bentonville, along with Logan Wilson from Little Rock Central, all seniors. And so we'll see how that they do. Also, Jack Forrest, who won the 200, is also in this 50, taking a handle of that. It's kind of unusual order of events, but he may be swimming 3 relays in the second half of the meet. So he's the lead seed coming in, and we'll see what happens here. I know Evan Carter, who's a younger swimmer, had a kind of a breakthrough swim earlier this year, and when he did this 22.6, so he could improve on that time as he maybe reaches his peak at the right time for this meet.
So little margin for error in the 50 freestyle. You know, anytime you can drop just a tenth of a second, you have to be considering it a win for that race, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and a couple of years ago we had Tyler Wingfield and Zane Sutton virtual tie, and the timing system didn't work. So we went on backup times, and Ty was the winner there. But in general, it's very close, and hopefully the touchpads work and they can determine that. But it's hundredths of a second sometimes separates the winner and the second place. I think that there's quite a few kids and people watching outside probably don't have tickets to get in as we see people lined up against the glass, but fortunately the weather's cooperative here, and I think the kids really enjoy swimming in the evening. I know a lot of them work out in the morning and probably leads to some very good performances, but exciting for all these kids to try to get a state championship. Conway was the defending champion. They graduated a few seniors. Little Rock Central had won the 2 years prior to that, and Bentonville had won about 14 in a row prior to that. So
right.
All these teams are in the mix right now, and we expect it in the end, as we calculated the points, to be between Little Rock Central and Bentonville. But third is very close between 3 or 4 teams as well. Bentonville West, Cabot, Fayetteville, and a few others are right in that mix for the third place. Conway's the other team kind of in the mix for that. So we'll keep you updated on those scores. The other thing that's really important in the 50 is your kick, and making sure the kick propels you a lot. And you can you don't have to conserve any energy. You're going to give it all out right there. The other thing is, if you look at the blocks, if you see them at home, there's kind of a back fin, and what that block is designed after is kind of a track start, and that's what the swimmers use. They found that to be faster. I think the first one to ever use that was a friend of mine, Steve Crocker. He went to Western Kentucky, and he works for the company that actually designed this facility and built this pool. But he had a track start and very, very quick reactions. And back when I started, everybody put their feet on the front of the front of the blocks and started that way with kind of a grab start. Now everybody does a track start, and if you watch Caleb Dressel, he's the best in the world at the start. He takes the best athletes and he comes up shoulder length ahead of them, and it's because he's got a 38-inch vertical leap and great explosiveness and great technique into the water. So it's really exciting to watch that. And again, I think I said this during the girls' meet earlier, but in this facility, Bentonville uses this pool, and so does Bentonville West, but we work out sideways. So it's a 25-yard square pool, and in general, there is they don't get to use the blocks a lot. So they work on Friday night on techniques, getting off the blocks and getting good starts. And the pool, fortunately, is deep enough for them to use that. But, they don't get as much practice as they probably would like going off the blocks, because that's critically important to a race like the 50 free.
Sure. And we talked about the little things in the 50 free making a difference. Something like circle swimming. I mean, you see these swimmers in practice every day. They're swimming in circles as they're in their lanes, going through getting their distance in, and it becomes probably some muscle memory and some habit to circle swim. It's just part of their daily routine, and they have to remember when they're competing to stay on the line and stay straight and shorten the distance that they're actually swimming. So,
yeah, no, critically important. And you just remind me of a point, Scott, is that some of the challenges that Mark Gohl and Liz Braun and the other coaches around here have had is that used to be, historically, everybody starts on the wall and you have 5 swimmers and you circle swim. Now, because of social distancing, you start at both ends at both 15-yard marks in the center. So the facility is set here. We can have a max of 5 per lane for the Sharks, 3 per lane in the others, and they want you to start at different points. And so Very challenging, kind of fun to watch and different things. I'm fortunate enough to swim with a couple people. One of them is a neurologist, and so he's had his COVID shots, and I haven't had mine, but I can get close to him and things. But in general, it's really interesting how they have to do it and the challenges with doing it. But with less pool time and different things, Mark Gold and the NWA Sharks have done a great job of managing that, as has the Aqua Hogs, which is the other team, Northwest Arkansas. I'm sure Little Rock, Conway, Jonesboro, and the other teams are all facing similar challenges.
Sure.
And obviously they also have a 5A meet going on in Russellville, and I'm not sure where the 1 through 4A is this year, but they have to juggle the way we did things, and more importantly, the AAA has worked, and the athletes are all going to get to compete, and that's a win-win.
Absolutely. So coming up here real soon, we're going to have the 50-yard freestyle, 2 heats there. It'll be about 45 seconds of all-out effort. So there we go.
All right, we have 2 heats of the 50 free. It's just down and back and all-out sprint.
I'm going to go ahead and announce these since this is such a fast event. It doesn't last very long. In the first heat of the 50-yard freestyle, in lane 2, we have Hayden Smith from Bryant. Lane 3, Gavin Blaylock from Conway. Lane 4, David Wallace from Harbor. Lane 5, Briggs Becker from Bentonville West. Lane 6, Jordan Mosby from Conway. And lane 7, Bromley from Catholic.
Again, we've had a couple scratches with some COVID concerns, and that's why the couple lanes open. But it looks like lane 4, which is David Wallace, a slight lead as they make the first turn, but Briggs Becker from Bentonville West is right with them. Very close, but it looks like lane 4, David Wallace from Harbor, has got a slight lead. Now lane 5 is moving up, Briggs Becker, and again, lane 6 ends up winning at 22:61. That's Jordan Mosby of Conway.
Good swim.
Second was lane 4, 23:03, and that's David Wallace. And third in lane 3, Gavin Blaylock, Conway. So Conway had a couple of swims there, and those are some good times.
Second heat, last heat, Caleb Tong, Mintonville, lane 1. Lane 2, Aladami from Little Rock Central. Lane 3, Duncan Troop from Conway. Lane 4, Jack Forrest from Little Rock Central. Lane 5, McDonough from Cabot. Lane 6, Evan Carter from Bentonville. Lane 7, Logan Wilson from Little Rock Central. Lane 8, Peyton Price from North Little Rock.
We got Jack Forrest. Lane 3 looks like out to an early lead. That's Duncan Troop from Conway. Conway's got a long tradition with a couple state record holders in this event, and it looks like Conway's going to get this. Duncan Troop looks like he's got a slight lead, and it's, lane 4 touches him out. That's Jack. Lane 4, Jack Forrest from Little Rock Central first, Duncan Troop from Conway second, and third, lane 6, Evan Carter from Bentonville, 22:05, pretty good time. So 21:56 was the lead time in lane 4 for Jack Forrest. He's a 2 winner. He's won both the 200 free and the 50 free, kind of an unusual double. Fourth with Caleb Tong, outside smoke from Bentonville. Very important points for them. Fifth was lane 2, Aladahami from Little Rock Central. And sixth, lane 6 was Logan Wilson, from Little Rock Central.
So update on points, team points here in the standings after the 50 freestyle. In first place currently with 148 points is Central High School. Second place, Bentonville High School with 138 points, 10 points behind. Third place, Conway High School with 134. Fourth place, Bentonville West High School with 112. And in fifth place, Cabot High School with 66 points.
Wow, really close. But North Little Rock is also tied with Cabot for fifth, and Fayetteville just 4 points behind in seventh. So continues to be very close. And as I've scored the races coming up, it's very close for Central and Bentonville in the 100 fly, and Central's got a little bit of advantage in the 100 free. Bentonville with the back half, it's got a large number of backstrokers and breaststrokers, and then the 400 free relay. It may come down to that last race.
So we have a little time for the next event, which is the 100-yard butterfly. State record holder from back in 2009 is Ellis Miller, who I believe swam at Arizona. Is that right?
He did. He was from Siloam Springs and didn't even swim his senior year. He trained with Michael Phelps in Baltimore and skipped his senior year. So he did that his junior year. He was a semifinalist in Olympic trials in 2012. So swam in Arizona and quite a good swimmer. Used to have more state records. Had the 50, 100, 100 fly, 100 back at one time. Now he's still holding on to the and 200 free. He's still holding on to the 100 fly, but you know, we keep getting faster. Even though that was a great swimmer, his records are getting broken.
We're going to cut to commercial, Scotty.
Okay.
At Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale, we understand that life is too short to spend hours in an ER waiting room. And we know that in an emergency, minutes really do matter. So our entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a clinical professional in 30 minutes or less, because we think you should spend less time waiting and more time feeling better. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, only at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale. At Northwest Health System Bentonville and Spring.
It was raining.
That teen was texting.
The deer was crossing. The guy was looking at his maps. It was raining.
Since 1996, Bob Morey's Auto Body has worked hard at providing you the best all-around automotive collision repair. It is a pleasure getting to serve you Northwest Arkansas. With 14 service bays, we can handle large and small repairs along with auto glass replacement.
In this part of the country, it's a way of life. You're going about your day without a cloud in the sky. Then suddenly, you find yourself wondering how solid your home really is. With nearly 25 years of certified experience, let our team give you the same assurance on a stormy night that you feel on a clear afternoon. Before the downpour, before the leaks, call Foster Roofing, serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley since 1994.
Foster Roofing has been helping Arkansas homeowners weather every storm for over 25 years. If your roof was damaged by the recent storm, be aware that out-of-state roofing companies may try to pose as local businesses. Choose an Arkansas state licensed local company for your roof repair. Choose Foster Roofing.
It could happen to me.
It could happen to me.
It could happen to me.
It could happen to me. It could happen to me.
It did happen to me.
A heat stroke can happen to anyone, and it's 100% preventable. Always remember, prehydrate, hydrate, and rehydrate. For more tips on proper hydration, go to kendrickfincher.org.
It could happen to me.
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 It did happen to me.
A heat stroke can happen to anyone, and it's 100% preventable. Always remember, prehydrate, hydrate, and rehydrate. For more tips on proper hydration, go to kendrickfincher.org.
At Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale, we understand that life is too short to spend hours in an ER waiting room. And we know that in an emergency, minutes really do matter. So our entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a clinical professional in 30 minutes or less, because we think you should spend less time waiting and more time feeling better. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, only at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale.
Okay, we're back. We're ready for the boys 100-yard butterfly.
Again, you had said this earlier, but state record is held by Ellis Miller, set back in 2009. I think it's the oldest record out there, 48.98. Last year, Ryan Husband from Bentonville High School won this in 49.5. He's now taking his talents to Auburn. And Andrew Rogers, who's in the second heat, was second in this event last year. When he was 10 years old, I believe he broke the national age group record. So
yes, he did.
Very good swimmer. And we're looking for, he might be the favorite in this second heat. But Kevin Brumfield from Springdale had a good fly at the IM. We'll see what happens as this comes up.
In the water for heat 1 of 2 of the boys 100-yard butterfly, we have in lane 1, Tyler Hamrick from Springdale. Lane 2, Cooper Traylor from Little Rock Central. Lane 3, Ed McKinnon from Fayetteville. Lane 4, Thomas Farrell from Fort Smith Northside. Lane 5, Caleb Davis from Cabot. Lane 6, Ethan Chris from Bentonville. And in lane 7, Logan John from Bentonville West.
Looks like Thomas Farrell is out to an early lead from Fort Smith Northside. Out in 25.91. Very good start coming out there. Fly is a pretty grueling race. Might see some people fading or some people really coming back. Giving him a challenge is Caleb Davis from Cabot right next to him. Those two are almost stroke for stroke as they head to the finish here in the last 25 of the 100 fly. Looks like Kevin Brumfield from Springdale is going to hold on. It finishes in 55.93. That time should move up a little bit.
I believe that's David Wallace from Harbor.
Oh, I must be looking at the wrong event. Yep, sorry about that.
No, I'm sorry. Gosh, we're both off. Thomas Farrell from
Fort Smith Northside.
Northside.
Okay, and second was lane 6, which is Ethan Chris from Bentonville. So very important points for him. And we have the second heat. And I'll turn it over to Scott to introduce the swimmers.
In the water, the last heat for the 100-yard butterfly, we have in lane 1, Joshua Chapa from Cabot. Lane 2, Andrew Rogers from Conway. Lane 3, Jake Noble from Bentonville. Lane 4, Kevin Brumfield from Springdale. Lane 5, Philip Stanley from North Little Rock. Lane 6, Hardister from Cabot. Lane 7, Reynolds from Little Rock Central. Lane 8, Abachale from Little Rock Central.
Center of the pool, Jake Noble looks like he's out to a lead there. Him and Kevin Brumfield from Springdale are right neck and neck. Jake just looked over at him. He's got a lead here. Jake Noble from Bentonville going to Lindenwood next year, and Kevin Brumfield from Springdale are stroke for stroke as they head in the last 25. Jake Noble, you can see Liz Braun and Mark Gold jumping up and down as they come close to finish. Looks like Kevin might have that from Springdale, and it is 51.06 for Kevin Brumfield. Second, Jake Noble, 51.46. And third in lane 5 is Philip Stanley from North Little Rock. Fourth from Conway is Andrew Rogers. Fifth in lane 6 was Lance Hardister from Cabot. And sixth in lane 7 was Joshua Reynolds from Little Rock Central. So obviously we had a very close race between Kevin Brumfield and Jake Noble. Jake Noble swam very well. I think that's a lifetime best, 51.16 for Kevin Brumfield and 51.46 for Jake Noble. Both very good swims for those two gentlemen. And again, as we had said earlier, Jake Noble is going to go to Lindenwood next year in St. Charles, Missouri, to continue his swimming career.
Did Lindenwood win that conference meet this year?
I
know they were in the running for it. I can't recall how it ended up.
Yeah, I know that it was between them and Delta State, the home team there. But I could look that up as we talk. But in general, Lindenwood has always has been a top 10 program since they went to Division II. So
while you're looking that up, I'm going to run down the team score here. So after that event and the points registered, currently in first place, Little Rock Central with 179 points. Bentonville High School with 162 points, so 17-point differential. And third place currently is Conway High School with 149 points. And in fourth place, Bentonville West High School with 115 points. And then in rounding out the top 5 is Cabot High School with 94 points.
Well, in the new South Intercollegiate Swim Championships, it looks like Delta State did win the men's title, so edging out Lindenwood.
There you go.
But we have another 12-minute break. That 100 fly was quite entertaining. We should see a good race in this 100 free as well.
So you're a master's swimmer. We've got a little time here. Let's talk about the master's swimming program.
So master's swimming is they have a college portion of that for kids that maybe aren't good enough to swim in college, but if you swim a club sport, they can swim. So that's anything from 19 to 100 and something are swimmers. And so you swim for USMS, United States Masters Swimming, and just basically register, and that's part of your insurance and things. And there's a master's group. I don't swim with that. I swim with a couple people that like to go in the morning. My schedule is kind of odd, so I try to get it in the morning, get it in. And we have a group of about 5 or 6 of us that get in there and beat the heck out of each other every morning. So, and try to keep up and try to do that. I swim with Alan Diamond, Byron Chepsick, and a few others that kind of compete, and most of us swam in college, and we'll do that. Jim Sellers also swims with us, and he swam at Georgia and also swam for Bentonville High School. So in general, master swimming is just adult swimming. They do it in 5-year increments, so like the age groups go from 25 to 29, 30 to 34, 35 to 39, et cetera, all the way up to 100. And just promote the sport, keep safe, and they have national competitions. This past year we didn't have any, but they had virtual meets. So we had a meet here in Bentonville, and maybe about 10 of us competed here and posted our times against other things. They're hoping to have the national championships this year in San Antonio, and it's just a way to keep people involved in the sport. So I obviously really enjoy it, and just keep doing it. And we have a group of adults that do that with me.
There's some top-notch masters talent floating around here, isn't there?
Well, most of them are former swimmers. I mentioned
Yeah.
Jim Sellers was on the first state championship teams for Bentonville and swam for the Walmart Swim Club way back in the day. In his 40s now. Byron Shevchik swam at BYU. I swam at Missouri. You know, we have Southers that swim for Arkansas. And
Can you ever get like Fred Constantini in the water? I mean, he
Fred
swam at
Constantini
Pitt.
swam at Pitt, and yeah, Fred can't get up, so he never comes in the morning.
Right.
But I occasionally swim with him at lunch, and he's a pretty formidable competition. He and I kind of swim middle distance and that sort of stuff. But
he's probably good for a 50.
It's good for Fred, but you know, we don't have stroke judges during practice, so nobody can DQ him and things. But he's known for cutting the turn short and pulling on the lane rope a little bit. But
I'd see that.
in general, Fred's a great guy and a really good, talented swimmer, and so is his wife. And she swam with us occasionally. But Elizabeth is also, she swam at West Virginia, also a good swimmer. Yeah. So, you know, needless to say, while his kids are very successful at it too.
Right.
But in general, you know, there's a few more. Randall Murtis, who's had, you know, a bunch of health issues and keeps swimming. Carrie O'Banion has been our former president. Dan Stockline and a few others. So people, we're good friends and do a lot of stuff socially, but in general, we try to kill each other in the water. But it's just a way of keeping active and try to slow that aging process down a little bit.
I think swimming throughout your advanced years is probably a good way to do that.
You know, and there's, you know, we've had people in the state that, you know, we had a gentleman pass away a few years ago, but swam until, you know, his upper 90s. So, you know, it's fun to watch.
He set some national records, if I remember.
He did. So, you know, swam in Fort Smith, and his grandson used to call me and register him and give me the credit card over the phone and things. I'm the membership coordinator for Arkansas Masters Swimming. So,
wow.
Anyway, it's just a way to get involved, and again, we have fun doing it. We, you know, get nervous before races and stuff, but don't take ourselves too seriously and do that. I know your wife has joined us. She used to be real active a few years ago, but schedule at work has not lent itself to her coming as often as she used to.
Nope. Unfortunately, she's not been able to do that, but I know she certainly enjoyed it. She was a high school swimmer over in Jinx, Oklahoma, which is a powerhouse of swimming over in that state. And,
with that facility, you would expect them to be really good. But yeah, it's you know, we have some good facilities around, and I know that there's been some. We don't know what the new Walton Fitness Center is going to look like, but they might build a new pool, and we're looking at other avenues because, you know, quite frankly, this facility is booked all the time. So we try to keep that. It's busy, but there's different things, and there's the, you know, Goldfish Swim School, which just opened in Rogers, which giving younger kids some lessons and things. And you know, I just try to be an ambassador for the sport and try to keep people involved and some others. I mean,
well, you're a good one, Scott. it would be good if we had 2 more of these pools like this around Bentonville, wouldn't it?
Well, it's the whole facility. The area's growing pretty much, and it's probably at capacity, but you know, we're just fortunate that we do have this and get to use it on a regular basis. Well, Steve Chris is the kind of the one that announces for the general facility there, but he tends to pick songs that I know here, so, you know, he mixes it up between what his kids probably tell him and some of these things like,
oh, sure.
This is Jump from Van Halen with David Lee Roth. He's the lead singer in 1984.
Yep.
So.
I think it's probably more in line with the spectators in the stands and the parents than it is the kids in the pool.
Yeah. So as we get to events coming up, we have the 100 freestyle, the 500 freestyle, the 200 freestyle relay, 100 back, 100 breast, and 400 free relay coming up, and it should be very important as each race has been in. So this next event's the 100 free, and we'll see Yusuf Baghdadi was second in this event last year, and Caleb Tonga was fifth, battling out between Little Rock Central and Bentonville once again. But the 100 free was a longer sprint. Last year in this event, Ty Wingfield won this from Conway in a 46 mid, maybe the 46.5. He's at Auburn, but Brian Husband led off the 400 free relay in 44.91 and set the state record on that event. So Brian just went, I believe, 44.5 at the SEC championships. Continues to get faster, but you know, as we're seeing in the sport and things. So in general, strategy in this one is you want to go out fast, but be controlled and just kind of hang on for and hopefully finish. Mark Gold would want you to finish very strong at the end of this, and the one who does that the best is probably going to win this race.
Can you talk about the importance of underwaters a little bit? I mean, it's I know they spend a lot of time on it. It's like you said,
so
it's
you're
the fifth
faster
stroke, right?
underwater, and most people do a dolphin kick, and you can go up to 15 meters underwater, and you see the yellow discs that mark that point, and you have to come up during that point. And some swimmers have a better dolphin kick than others and use it off the wall and off the start, but you have to come up within 15 yards. You'll see it more in backstroke, but also in freestyle. Swimmers like Caleb Dressel, Ryan Lochte are fantastic at doing that and have excelled, and other people have copied that. The Sharks certainly do that, and will model some of the different things that they'll see these faster swimmers do.
Okay, coming up momentarily, the boys 100-yard freestyle, event number 14. Current state record holder Ryan Husband from 2020 with a time of 44.91. The state qualifying time was a 52.95.
Well, my daughter just gave me a shout out. She's pregnant, overdue, and going to induce her on Monday. She said that the baby started moving around a little bit in her belly when she heard my voice. So,
of course.
Maybe that's a good sign.
There you go. Great sign. Quiet at the start. In the water for heat 1 of 2, we have Davis from Cabot, lane 2.
We have
Price
a false start, it looks like.
Oh, we sure do. You can hear it now. Hopefully they can stop the athletes.
Well, there's usually a rope here to stop that, but looks like the swimmers are
going ahead and swim it anyway. That's too bad.
Well, they'll have to give them some breaks.
Yep.
Normally you have people dive in here, but again, some of these poor athletes have swum a whole 75. So anyway, they'll have to some rest, and this will, kind of screw up the starts. But we had a false start there, is what that means, and they didn't have a rope here for the false start, and so normally a rope is pulled down and the swimmers will start. So those swimmers are going to need some rest to be able to do that again.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens, that could be very important towards the team championship there. So
would they typically just take this entire event and move it to the end?
Well, they'll just move that heat to the end.
Just that one heat, okay.
Obviously with the 12-minute breaks, we can do that. That's just unfortunate. One of the kids stopped right away in lane 2. I don't know if he was the guilty party of false starting. That was Peyton Price. He must have heard the siren. Quite frankly, if I was swimming the race, I wouldn't have stopped either. I would have just kept going. So they'll meet with the coaches and decide when that they can go again. But probably in a few minutes we'll have the heat 2, but we won't know the official results of that event for a while.
It's a shame. I've seen that happen at national level events and swim meets, and People scrambling to get the rope down so they can stop them.
Yeah, looks like they don't have that up. I see where the pole is, but there's no rope on it. So they, maybe we'll make a correction of errors for that the next time. But the officials are kind of getting together. Those athletes will probably swim a little bit later. And we saw people jumping in, diving in, and grabbing their ankles and things like that. But I was getting ready to do the same myself, but my headset held me back from doing that, so I stopped. But Mike Noble stopped the swimmer in lane 1 there, so official doing his job. Looks like lane 2 swam the whole race, went a 51:19, which is a pretty good time. He dropped off of his seed time. But a couple tenths.
Yeah, that would have been good for the 7th spot in the second heat.
Yeah, so what they'll do is they'll let those athletes get some rest and swim that again later. It might affect the relays somewhat, but the good news is they have a 500 free, which takes 5 minutes a heat, and so those guys will be able to get some rest before that. Might affect the relays a little bit, but I think we're going to go into heat 2 here.
Okay, heat 2. Lane 1, McElroy from Cabot. Lane 2, McDonough from Cabot. Lane 3, Caleb Tong from Bentonville. Lane 4, Yusef Bagat from Little Rock Central. Lane 5, Evan Carter from Bentonville. Lane 6, Logan Wilson from Little Rock Central. Lane 7, Maines from Springdale. And lane 8, Josh Reynolds from Little Rock Central.
Race is in the middle of the pool. Looks like Yusuf Bagat in Little Rock Central has got a slight lead in lane 5. Next to him, Evan Carter is hanging with him, and so is Caleb Tong. Out in 22:86, which is pretty good, is Yusuf Bagat. Followed closely in lane 5 by Evan Carter. But it's like Yusuf is pulling up here. Caleb Tong trying to make a charge here in the last 25. Looks like he's going to come on for third. He's really pushing this last 25. Evan Carter looks like he's going to hold on for second, but he's like Yusuf Bagat is going to win this. 46:84 for Yusuf, great time. Second, Evan Carter, 47:86, and third, Caleb Tong, 48:66. So pretty good. Fourth in lane 6 was Logan Wilson from Little Rock Central. Fifth in lane 7 was Landon Maines from Springdale, and sixth, rounding out the podium in lane 8 was Josh Reynolds, a freshman from Little Rock Central. So we won't have any score updates because we'll have to wait to the first heat to swim. And it's unfortunate that happened, but the good news is with the 500 being contested next, we'll have 12 minutes before that heat. Those guys will get sufficient rest to be able to go a good 100 free.
At Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale, we understand that life is too short to spend hours in an ER waiting room. And we know that in an emergency, minutes really do matter. So our entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a clinical professional in 30 minutes or less, because we think you should spend less time waiting and more time feeling better. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, only at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale.
It was raining.
That teen was texting.
The deer was crossing. The guy was looking at his map.
At Bob Morey's Auto Body, no matter the excuse, they'll fix it for you. Look us up on the web, call or come by now. Make sure you pay attention. Watch out for that. Bob Morey's Auto Body. It's your car. It's your choice.
Choose wisely.
At BobMoreyAutobody.com.
Since 1996, Bob Morey's Auto Body has worked hard at providing you the best all-around automotive collision repair. It is a pleasure getting to serve you Northwest Arkansas. With 14 service bays, we can handle large and small repairs along with auto glass replacement.
In this part of the country, it's a way of life. You're going about your day without a cloud in the sky. Then suddenly, you find yourself wondering how solid your home really is. With nearly 25 years of certified experience, let our team give you the same assurance on a stormy night that you feel on a clear afternoon. Before the downpour, before the leaks, call Foster Roofing, serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley since 1994.
Foster Roofing has been helping Arkansas homeowners weather every storm for over 25 years. If your roof was damaged by the recent storm, be aware that out-of-state roofing companies may try to pose as local businesses. Choose an Arkansas state licensed local company for your roof repair. Choose Foster Roofing.
It could happen to me.
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 It did happen to me.
A heat stroke can happen to anyone, and it's 100% preventable. Always remember, prehydrate, hydrate, and rehydrate. For more tips on proper hydration, go to kendrickfincher.org.
Yes.
All right, we just got an update. They're going to swim the first heat of the 100 free in between the 2 heats of the 500 free. So that event will be complete, and the 500 free is next. So we'll have 1 heat of the 500 free, then the makeup heat of the 100 free, and then the second heat of the 500 free.
In the water for the first heat of the boys 500-yard freestyle. In lane 1, we have American Horse from Bentonville High School. We have Shock from Fayetteville. Lane 3, we have Croom-Weedy from Bentonville. Lane 4, Shaban from Harbor. Lane 5, Abachali from Little Rock Central. Lane 6, Aaron Tong from Bentonville High School. Lane 7, Cooper Trailer from Little Rock Central. And in lane 8, Peterson from Cabot.
So a 20-length race. Abachile from Little Rock Central is off to an early lead. Little Rock's had a good tradition of distance swimmers. One of the things that kind of reminds me in here when I see Aaron Tong, Caleb's younger brother, out there. Caleb, when he was a freshman, swam the 500 free. Now he's the 1500. So as he's developed, and he's probably that distance base, which helps him as he develops and got bigger and stronger. He's developed in more of the sprinting races. So setting the early pace going out is lane 5. That's Abachile from Little Rock Central. So he's setting the early pace. He's looking very smooth there. Being on his right side. And second is Crumweedy from Bentonville. He's in second. You can see him now as he comes back as they come up in the 150 yards. A 20-length race strategy is very important. A lot of people like to split that evenly. Some people may go out a little faster, but that last 50, Crumweedy from Bentonville was a little bit faster than Abachile from Little Rock Central. So he has now taken the lead, and as they come up to 175, he's taken the lead of this first heat. Critically important to points, and got James American Horse in lane 1, and he's quite a bit ahead of lane 6, 7, and 8 right now, so that's going to be valuable points for that. But turning first at 200, right at about 2 minutes, is Crumweedy from Bentonville. So second is Abachile from Little Rock Central, kind of a microcosm of the team scores as you have Bentonville and Little Rock Central doing that out. And then Lucas Shaban from Harbor is now moved into second place. Crumweedy looks very smooth as he approaches the halfway point at the 250 mark, and that's halfway through the race. He's right at 230 points, so that would be 5 minutes if he kept that. The state qualifying time was a 5:13:48. We're looking for some big drops in a longer race here, but Crumweedy continues to lead for Bentonville and trying to gain valuable points and move into the top 8. As we had said earlier, the first heat of the 100 free will be in between these two races, and then we'll get into the last heat, which should be pretty entertaining with Cole Groom from Bentonville West and Connor Boatwright, the freshman from Harbor, developing that.
Scott, I noticed that the state record holder in this event is Antonio Thomas from back in 2016 at 4:26:13. I think he was swimming for Haas Hall at the time, if I'm correct. And he went on to swim for 4 years at Missouri State.
Correct, and he was an Olympic trial qualifier in the 1500.
And in NCAA?
He did. He made NCAAs, I think, his freshman and sophomore year. And they had a great distance program there at Missouri State with him and actually a couple Arkansas swimmers. But the gentleman from Bryant, he and Antonio made up the distance lane kind of from Missouri State. So Antonio really did well. And kind of the start of that was he swam when he was very little, but he really worked on his turns and got the good 500. And kind of Boatwright won't challenge that time today, but the next 3-4 years he probably will look at taking down that record from Antonio Thomas.
Coming into the last few.
Yeah, they're coming up with 50 yards to go. As they come down to the far end, they're going to get the bell. And again, it looks like Crumweedy's going to win this heat. He's going to drop quite a bit of time here. He's got 50 yards to go. Lane 2 from Fayetteville, Charles Schock is closing on him a little bit. Followed by lane 6, which is giving a little bit of a charge, and that's Aaron Tong from Bentonville. So looks like Bentonville is going to win this heat and gain some valuable points. Looks like lane 2, which is Charles Schock from Fayetteville, is going to come in second. Aaron Tong couldn't bite a charge. It looks like he's going to get third. But winning that heat with a 5:08.28 from Bentonville is Crumweedy. Charles Schock from Fayetteville is second and 5:10.41, and third is Aaron Tong from Bentonville, 5:11.60. So fourth in lane 4 is Luca Shubin from Harbor. Fifth in lane 5 is Abichail from Little Rock Central, and sixth in that heat in lane 1 is James American Horse. So
as you mentioned earlier, Scott, we're going to take a step back here for a minute and swim the first heat of the boys 100-yard freestyle that had a false start earlier.
Yeah, and that'll give us a total score for that. We'll give you an update during that 500. So this is critically important, and these kids, the importance of being in good shape is to be able to turn around twice in some 2 events like that in a relatively short period of rest.
So again, as a reminder, the swimmers in this event, lanes 1 through 8, are Davis from Cabot, Price from North Little Rock, Wilson from Conway, Farrell from Fort Smith Northside, Becker from Bentonville West, Marotte from Conway, Cannon from Little Rock Central, and Thomas from Bentonville.
And those lanes are left to right as you look at it on your screen. There's the first whistle telling the swimmers to get attention, and the second whistle means they need to get on the blocks.
Scott, it looks like Wilson was the
guilty party, disqualification from Conway. So he must have false started or moved, and they gave a double gun. Usually they just let him swim and disqualify him at the end. Looks like lane 2 and lane 4 are right together. Again, that's Peyton Price from North Little Rock and Thomas Farrell from Fort Smith Northside. Also lane 6, Marotte from Conway is right there. But lane 4 has got 24-17 as a slight lead as they go out. And that's Thomas Farrell from Fort Smith Northside trying to get points for the Grizzlies there. And he comes off that last turn, didn't stand nowhere very long, got right to swimming, but it looks like that Thomas Farrell is going to win this heat. And it looks like lane 6, 51.07, and that's Simon Marotte from Conway, second in the heat. Lane 4, Thomas Farrell from Fort Smith Northside, 51.13. Third in lane 8 from Bentonville, Rodney Thomas, great swim, 51.93. Fourth in lane 2 is Peyton Price from North Little Rock, fifth. Great swim by these boys形they just swam a little bit ago, but in fifth is Noah Cannon from Little Rock Central, and sixth in lane 5 is Briggs Becker from Bentonville West. And now we have the final heat of the 500 free.
In the water for the final heat of the boys 500-yard freestyle, we have in lane 1, Caleb Guthrie from Bentonville West, lane 2, Daniel Moore from Little Rock Central, Lane 3, Aaron Wickland from Rogers. Lane 4, Connor Boatwright from Harbor. Lane 5, Cole Groom from Bentonville West. Lane 6, Jack Woodard from Fayetteville. Lane 7, Jacob Hale from North Little Rock. And in Lane 8, Hardister from Cabot.
Connor Boatwright, the freshman from Harbor, is out to the early lead. He's got a beautiful stroke. Also next to him from Bentonville West is Cole Groom. They had a good battle earlier this year. Two very good swimmers. Connor, you look how he rides on the water, just an easy stroke, especially for a 14-year-old. Looks very smooth in the water, and a lot of work and a lot of talent to do that. He's out in 52. Pretty good pace going out. Cole Groom second from Bentonville West in lane 5. But Connor's kind of a pleasure to watch. We also, in lane, we have a couple freshmen in this. Lane 1 from Bentonville West, Caleb Guthrie is a freshman. As I mentioned, Connor Boatwright, also a freshman, and we had another one in the previous heat. So kind of a younger person's event, and Connor is really setting the pace, and Cole Groom should have a pretty good time here. Cole comes in seated at 4:51. He's been training really well. He will back half his race and come back as fast as he goes out, but he's an excellent swimmer. As they come up on the 200 of this, Connor's out in 1:48, 27:87 for that particular 50. Cole Groom second in about 1:52. The scoreboard gives you splits per 50, so the cumulative time I kind of have to do in my head. So anyway, Connor Boatwright, as they come up on the halfway, continues to lengthen his lead. Lanes 5 and 6, Cole Groom from Bentonville and Jake Woodward from Fayetteville are battling out for second. And third, Aaron Wickland from Rogers is fourth currently. As they come in the halfway mark, 27:64 again for Connor Boatwright as he continues to lengthen his lead. Very good stroke, looks very smooth, looks very easy. You'll see him pick it up at the end as well. But very good pace. He's holding 55s. Once he does that, would be 4:35 if he keeps that up. As he comes up on the 300, he's at 3:43. Great time, continuing to do that. Cole Groom starting to pick it up here, is now moved to a solid second place. His last split was 28:64 as he comes in, but he's getting quite a run for his money in lane 6 from Jack Woodward, the senior. Cole's a junior. And also in lane 3, Aaron Wickland from Rogers is right with them, currently in 4th place. Connor Boatwright continues to split 27.5, 27.6, so that's 55. It's going to beat his seed time with that pace as he looks very smoothly. We have a battle in lane 3 with Aaron Wickland, in lane 5 with Cole Groom, and in lane 6 with Jack Woodward. The three of those gentlemen are battling out for second place behind Connor Boatwright, who's obviously going to win this, as he's got 100 yards to go. He's at 3:39 as he flips it to 400. He's on pace to beat that seed time of 4:37, probably going to go about 4:35. So he looks very strong. Cole Groom is in a barrel with Aaron Wickland for second, and is followed closely by Jack Woodward at Fayetteville. So those three gentlemen are battling out as they come on the bell lap for Connor Boatwright. He's got 50 yards to go. Again, flips in 27.3. He's actually picking it up. Cole Groom, and you see these gentlemen keeping up the 6-beat kit as they come in. All of them have 50 yards, and it's Groom and Wickland, second and third, and fourth close behind is Jack Woodward. So see who's got the most left at the end, but it's going to be Connor Boatwright, the freshman, dominating the field here in the 500 free. Fun to watch. It's going to be 4:33.26. Great time for Connor Boatwright. Great time for a freshman. It's very close. Looks like Cole's going to hold on for second place. Ooh, he got touched out. So Connor Wickland, 4:43.76 for second. Cole Groom, 4:43.82. By 6/100ths, he was third, and fourth for Fayetteville at 4:45.20 is Jack Woodward. So very close race there. Fifth in lane 2 is Daniel Moore from Little Rock Central. Sixth from Bentonville West Caleb Guthrie, 7th in lane. I think the previous heat actually is going to be 7th, so those gentlemen are going to be. Jacob Hale is going to be 8th, and Lance Hardister is going to be 9th. And everybody but lane 8 dropped time in that, so a pretty impressive race.
Okay, so we'll bring you the scoring update as it happens. We're in a really tight race right now with Little Rock Central, Bentonville High School for first and second, and then for the third and fourth between Conway and Bentonville West. We do have 12 minutes before the next event, which is the 200-yard freestyle relay.
Looks like the 500 free is official, so we should be on the team scores. So with the boys, it's Little Rock Central with 230, Bentonville High School 201. Oh, it did update. Okay. So Little Rock Central first with 250, Bentonville High School 223, Conway 168, Bentonville West 146, Cabot 118, North Little Rock 97, 7th Fayetteville 90, Harbor 8th 78, Springdale 9th 77, Catholic 10th 39. As we look at the projected point totals, you know, we're not sure who's going to win this 200 free relay. Little Rock Central is seeded first, and that would be 40 points. Bentonville is seeded 7th, so that could be quite a bit of movement there. But in the 100 back coming up, Bentonville is seeded first, second, and third. So that's going to be quite a few points as they have that coming up.
If it turns out that way, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. They have to swim the race, and it's not just based on seeding, but you see somebody move up, you see somebody move down, and it's very close. So I was just telling Mr. Passmore here as he stands by the projected point totals in the 100 back. Bentonville High School is supposed to get, they're seated first, second, and third, so they should gain some points there. So athletic director Scott Passmore just came up to the two of us to get a score update. He's obviously very interested in what the team scores are. So that was a very good race in that 500 free. Connor Boatwright, another best time of 4:33. Pretty impressive for a freshman.
So obviously when a swimmer moves on to swim in college, Scott, they get more of a specialized training regimen, right? They kind of move them into groups. Maybe they're a sprinter, maybe they're a IMer, maybe they're a distance freestyler. I don't think you see that as much at this age group.
Well, they do some of it, but, you know, for obvious reasons, they can't, you know,
Right.
have a much bigger group to focus. When I was in college, we had a distance lane. Sometimes we'd all go to the same practice, but we'd have a distance lane, a stroke lane, and a sprint lane, you know, and usually two of some. And I would sometimes go in the distance lane, sometimes go in the stroke lane, but they have more room to work on those sort of things. There's limits on hours and things in both high school and college, but try to really focus on some things. And you may have some swimmers, we'll take a couple examples that, you know, like Zane Sutton, who swam here a few years ago. He never, you know, he was always a sprinter and a backstroker, but he's working on both those events now and, you know, really hitting the weights a little bit harder and kind of developing that. But, you know, somebody like your son, Hayden Harlow, is, you know, he's good at the 200 and 400 IM. 400 IM requires a lot of distance training, but his best stroke is breaststroke. So he's going to probably specialize in those events. But Hayden is good in every stroke, so maybe not as good in back, but he's a strong butterflyer and some different things. But, you know, they'll work on different groups. I know that Tyler Crossan, that swam a few years ago at Conway, was he's graduated in 2013. And when he went to LSU, what he did was train a little bit less and lift weights a little bit more and kind of went into that for that sprinting. And his first year dropped a lot of time in his 100 back and his 50 free and 100 free. So obviously good results.
Yeah.
Most of those people know what they're doing pretty well. But with with groups and different ability, they're able to specialize more than some of the club teams would.
Sure. So from the college coach perspective, let's talk a little bit about recruiting for high school swimmers. From your perspective, does a college coach prefer to recruit a swimmer that maybe has good mechanics and seems to be performing well but hasn't been in the weight room yet?
Yeah, I think it varies. I know that, let's say Drury, for example, which is a Division II powerhouse near us, a couple hours away in Springfield. They've had success with some people from Catholic, some people from Little Rock, and they'll continue to recruit from that as a result. Eddie Reese, who's at Texas, has been there for a long time, and he's had tremendous success. He gets his pick of the litter, but he'll always want to go watch that swimmer swim before he invests time and decides to get that swimmer. He wants to make sure the technique is there. But, some would encourage it. But, if you have a swimmer that's outstanding, pretty much any coach is going to jump at the opportunity to get them, regardless if they've been lifting weights. Normally, the college program, just think with the increased competition, you look at Ryan Husband that was here on the team last year, and he got some competition from Haley Pike on the team and something, but in the sprints, nobody could touch him. Now he gets to Auburn, he's just the guy. And so they're going to make him a lot faster, and that's the difference really in there. But I would think that the coach would look at technique, the program that they had. If he's from a real small program, let's say Bella Cothran, who's from Jonesboro, she's from a smaller program. So Neil Harper at University of Arkansas is going to love that because he's thinking he's really going to develop her.
The upside is so
the
much
upside's
bigger.
more. And, Mark Gohl used to be a college coach who coaches for the NWAA Sharks, and he knows a lot of these athletes, and he knows a lot of the swimmers around the country and the coaches. And so he tries to fit the program to match that particular athlete. So if we have a real good distance swimmer, like, for example, last year we had Haley Pike. She went to Purdue. They had a good 500 swimmer for her to match up with. So, you have some different things and some different variables that would add up to them doing very well. I'm good. So basically, that's kind of a long answer to that question, but I guess it depends. And, sometimes a coach like at Texas, if he thinks the stroke technique's not good, he might pass on them. But that's the best of the best. But, Eddie Reese gets Carson Foster. Jack Bowerly at Georgia gets Luca Orlando. Those are two of the best swimmers in the world coming into college. Anybody would take those gentlemen. But Luca Orlando, who's from Sacramento, California, has had a bunch of shoulder injuries. He still won conference at the SECs. He's one of the best in the world in the 200 fly, but they've had to increase his kick and lower his amount of yardage because of a shoulder injury. So, it depends on that. Carson Foster just won a couple events at the Big 12 conference meet. And, again, coming into college, those swimmers are the exception. They were some of the best in the world before they even started.
Yeah. So you'd take them regardless.
Absolutely. But, certainly Arkansas is producing a lot of good swimmers. And just based on what we saw, there are going to be a lot of people after Connor Boatwright. They can't talk to him yet. He's only a freshman. But at 14 going 4:33, there's tremendous upside potential for him.
Yeah, because his frame, they're going to put some muscle on him eventually, or if he continues to be a distance freestyler, then maybe they just know that the training regimen being more specialized in college, that his upside's still huge.
And he's got potential as he grows. He's going to fill out. He's probably going to get better at the 200 free. He got beaten that today, but his best is yet to come, so to speak. So, if we look at those aspects of a swimmer with that ability, we'll see that. But and again, in our 100 back we have coming up, Gage Johnson is a freshman. He's seated at 52.25. As I said, Gavin Lindley won this event last year as a junior national program qualifier, and he would be favored to win this, but since he transferred schools, he's not eligible to swim in this meet until next year. So basically, we have the 200 free relay, which is a critically important event. Little Rock Central is our lead seed. They were second last year. Conway won this event last year. They're the 4th seed, and Bentonville is the 7th seed. So it could go a long way to determining the championship. And after that, it's the 100 back, then the 100 breast, and the 400 free relay. So Looks like we've got some thunderstorms outside as it started to rain, but we're nice and dry here inside.
Yes, we are. So I'll go ahead and call out the teams for the first heat here. So the boys 200-yard freestyle relay coming up in the first heat. We have in lane 3 Bryant High School, lane 4 Fayetteville High School, lane 5 Bentonville West High School, and in lane 6 Heritage High School.
Yeah, so Bentonville West in this first heat, they were 6th last year. Not sure exactly who they're going to put on there. The coach puts 8 athletes in there, and kind of before the meet, they were deciding who was going to go in what spot. So you could see some dramatics.
All part of that stress or that chess match between coaches, right?
Yeah, I think the coaches are good friends outside of the pool, but each one of them wants to win inside. Well, as we get ready for the 100 backstroke, Gage Johnson, that's the event after this, Gage Johnson's uncle just texted me. Shout out to him who swam at University of Arkansas. So as we get into this 200 freestyle relay, there's 4 swimmers, each swimming 50 yards each, 2 lengths of the pool, just down and back. Got to be an all-out sprint. As I said earlier during the ladies' competition, the way that the takeoff is judged, you have the swimmer has to get his hand on the wall, and before the person has to have some part of his body, his legs contacted with the block. So in order to determine not a false start. Lane 5 is currently winning. That's Bentonville West, as they have a slight lead over Fayetteville. And in lane 3, the Bryant Hornets are 3rd, and Heritage is coming in 4th right now. So Bentonville West trying to pick up points. They're in a battle for 3rd right now, and hope to hold on and move up in the next heat. As the 3rd swimmers dive in, we're halfway through this race. And Bentonville West continues to hold on, but looks like the swimmer from Fayetteville is pretty strong. Also, Bryant is right there. All 3 of these gentlemen are pretty much bunched together, with Bentonville West with a slight lead as they go into the 4th and final leg of this particular race. Again, the person wants to be moving, get some momentum as they go in and then dive out and hopefully keep the lead. Looks like Bentonville West is going to take this. They're coming in with a seat time of 1:35.97. The state record was set last year by Conway at a time of 1:24.70. Looks like Bentonville West is going to win this first heat in a time of 1:35.56. Second is Fayetteville, 1:37.14, and third is Bryant, the Bryant Hornets at 1:38.04. They all seem to drop time off their seed times and hope to move up within the next heat. So,
second and final heat. In lane 1, we have Bentonville High School. Lane 2, we have Springdale Harbor. Lane 3, we have Cabot. Lane 4, Little Rock Central. Lane 5, North Little Rock. Lane 6, Conway. Lane 7, Springdale. And in lane 8, Little Rock Catholic High School.
And again, Bentonville, I'm not sure who's on that relay, but they're looking to move up some points here. Little Rock Central is seated first in this, and they were second last year. Conway, which is lane 6, won this event last year in a state record time, but again, have graduated a couple members of that particular team. And we got a start. Look for the speed in the center of the pool with Little Rock Central. And it looks like Bentonville is right there with Little Rock Central in lane 4. Outside smoke for Bentonville High School in lane 1 as they try to gauge in there. It's Bentonville and Little Rock Central are right together. 21.72 and 22 flat for Bentonville leading it off. That's quite a good time. They're 1-2 right now. Little Rock Central trying to extend that lead. Bentonville is in second place. Again, not sure that the Little Rock can see them as they swim, but kind of in a 50, you just put your head down and go. Get a good kick and do that. So it's Little Rock Central in first, Bentonville in second. Those splits 22.50 for that swimmer, 23.0 for Bentonville High School. As the third swimmers enter the water, Bentonville is hoping to gain here on Little Rock Central. Teammates are standing in front of me going crazy, but trying to encourage them out. Looks like Little Rock Central with a slight lead. Bentonville in second. Looks like those are the two classes of the field, but Bentonville's going to move up quite a bit as they go into the last leg. Little Rock Central continues to lead. Bentonville still in second. In third place, it looks like that is North Little Rock is in third. So Bentonville is looking like a solid second place. That's going to be 34 valuable points for them. And in third right now is North Little Rock. Conway's in fourth. So that's Little Rock Central first in 127.28. Second is Bentonville High School, 129.12. Third is North Little Rock, 130.57. Fourth in lane 6 is Conway, the defending champion, 132.54. Fifth in lane 3, that was Cabot. And sixth in lane 2 was Harbor. So Connor Boatwright anchored that and brought them back to 6th place. So Little Rock Central will continue to lead, but Bentonville got quite a few more points than expected in that particular relay.
Yeah, so coming into this event, we had a 27-point spread between Little Rock Central and Bentonville.
So that'll be 33 after that race.
Right.
And, we'll keep that up. So.
Yep, and there it is. So 33-point difference. We have Little Rock Central with 290 points and currently sitting in first place. In second place, we have Bentonville High School with 257 points. In third place, Conway High School with 198. And 28 points behind them in fourth place, Bentonville West High School with 170. Cabot High School is in fifth place currently with 146. North Little Rock with 129 in sixth place. And then we have Fayetteville High School in 7th, Harbor High School in 8th, Springdale High School in 9th. 10th place is Catholic High School. And then rounding out the last 4, we've got Bryant High School in 11th place, Rogers High School in 12th, Fort Smith Northside in 13th. Also in 13th, tied with 20 points, is Rogers Heritage.
Yeah, as we come up to 100 back in the next event, we'll have another break. Bentonville's seated first, second, and third in that particular race, so they expect to pick up an estimated 51 points.
If that holds true, Scott, I mean, you've got the freshman wonder there with Gage Johnson, age 14, as the top seed, with coming in with a 52.25, and just behind him with a 52.81 would be Stephen Dean, and with a 54.98 would be Jake Noble.
And in fourth place is Matthew
Gwynn.
From Gwynn from Little Rock Central. And the defending champion in this race is Andrew Rogers, who's in lane 7. So
there you go.
Obviously they're up for grabs, but Bentonville will hope to take advantage of that particular thing. And again, a lot of people I know are listening to our broadcast on the Tiger Sports Network. My phone's been blowing up a little bit lately, but anyway, glad you're all listening. Wish you all were here with us, but hopefully we're providing some accurate broadcasting and some insights into the meet. So fun for us to sit here by poolside and bring that action to you, but it looks like it's going to come down to the last event. Just based on the seeds in this next event, Bentonville is forecasted to be 51, and again, that will change, and Little Rock Central is only forecasted to get 19. So in 100 breast, Little Rock Central only has one swimmer, and Bentonville has several. So the projections on that are 26-3, and then there's first and second in the 400 free relay. So we'll see what happens there, and it's going to be exciting, we know. Mr. Passmore is coming up to me here, and I'm going to give him the latest score. And just tell them that the 100 backstroke, which is the event coming up, Bentonville seated first, second, and third, and scheduled to get a few points. So anyway, we'll see that get tight as they come to the last 3 events. And
kind of looking down the road a little bit, Scott, that last relay, with relays being worth double points, if it comes down to that as the deciding factor, you've got the top 2 teams in the last relay being Bentonville High School and Little Rock Central, so it all could come down to that.
And Evan Carter and Caleb Tong were second and third in that particular event, but you also have Stephen Dean and Gavin Husband that will be on that relay. So Should be pretty good, but Little Rock Central has got Yusuf Begad that won the 100 free, and Jack Henry Forrest, who has won a couple events as well. He won the 50 and the 200 free, so that should be a very close race. It might come down to that. Similar to the meet in 2010 where it came down to the last relay, and Bentonville pulled that out and won by 1 point. That was pretty exciting to watch that back in the day, but we'll see what happens here, and we'll keep continuing to give me updates. But not only is it a close race for first, but it's a close race for third as well. Conway currently leads that. Bentonville West is 28 points behind them. Cabot is in fifth at 146. Cabot did have the unfortunate, had a couple swimmers pull out last second for COVID, so otherwise they'd have been right in the mix probably for third, but just unfortunate. But anyway, we'll see. As we set the 100 backstroke field, and we kind of talked about that earlier, Gage Johnson is the #1 seed. I think he just set the Arkansas state record in the 13 to 14-year-old division. So breaking Gavin Van's record, who's got the state record from a few years ago. So Bentonville looking for a lot of good things from him, but Jake Noble swam very well in the 100 fly. He'll probably be pushing them, and hopefully they all push each other. And then a few lanes over, Andrew Rogers, defending champion in lane 7. So should be a good race in this 100 backstroke coming up.
So do you see combinations, typically in the 4 strokes, Scott, where someone will be good maybe in freestyle and backstroke, or breaststroke and butterfly? Is there mechanically, seem to be a common theme there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the undulation, it used to be that the breaststroke and the fly with the undulation, the dolphin motion would be somewhat similar. Now the butterfly is a little bit flatter. And I think there's some combination of freestyle and butterfly that tend to lend itself with each other. Breaststroke, you can see somebody good in that, maybe not good in the other strokes. Backstroke, and I've seen all sorts of combinations. A lot of times butterflyers and backstrokers will be good in both of those because of the dolphin kick aspect of it. So you'll see that, but in general, I guess it depends. I know that Gavin Lindley, who swims for the Sharks, he's a very good sprint freestyler and also a good backstroker and breaststroker. And he does those sort of things very well. I know that your son Hayden was very good at breast, fly, and free. Maybe a little bit weaker in backstroke, but he'd work on that backstroke hard to come up with that weakness. So in general, the kids don't become too specialized, at least not on the Aquahongs and the Northwest Arkansas Sharks. They tend to work on all strokes, and I think that benefits them in the long run.
I think that's called IM training for the most part, right?
Right, and that's what people have historically done over the years, but I think that when it comes to a meet like this, you'll have people specialize in a certain discipline because they've had success with that. And normally when they're younger, I know that they swim all the events. And we were joking about master swimming earlier. I've got a friend of mine that's a few years older than me. When he turns up in every age group, he tries to swim every event in that 4-year or 5-year period of time doing that. And I think that's a lot. I know that Mark Gohl and John Mosley try to believe in the same thing,
sure,
here locally.
So in case y'all out there in the audience can't tell, Scott Halliburton he's my swim Google, right? So I can just toss any question to him about swimming and he's going to have the right answer.
And I got a little history there, but I also got a pretty good memory. But this is, I think, I've seen the last 12 Arkansas State High School meets, so been seeing them all in person, but from my son swimming to just enjoying and participating and helping out with the meets and stuff, some different things. So enjoy it, like I said, enjoy the sport and keep doing that. And still follow it from a national perspective. I went to Missouri and we were unable to go watch the SECs that were there because of the social distancing and some different things, but still involved with that program, talk to the coach on a regular basis, and different coach than what I had, but in general, just keep involved in the sport and follow it pretty closely. And Mark Gohl and I, he recruited my son out of high school when he was at William Jewell, and loved nothing more than sit down and talk some swimming with him. So he's maybe even better than me on some of the trivia and stuff, but I just have a longer history at it than he does.
Scott Halliburton, #swim Google. It's going to stick.
Well, we'll see. But anyway, I do enjoy it and like watching it, and history in the making in coming in this meet if it comes down to the last event. So we hope it does, but we hope for great performances from all the swimmers and that they swim to their best ability and that everything's a fair competition.
Okay, coming up next, we have the boys 100-yard backstroke in Heat 1. I'll go ahead and run down the list here. Heat 1, Lane 2, we'll have Nathan Putnam from Bentonville West. Lane 3, Joshua Chapa from Cabot. Lane 4, Simon Marotte from Conway. Lane 5, Gavin Blaylock from Conway. And in lane 6, Daniel Manti from Fayetteville.
And I think we had 3 COVID scratches in the 100 backstroke. So unfortunately, those kids get to the end of their end of their season and unable to compete here. But it's good to be safe as well. It's gotten a little quieter in here. I guess the breaks and stuff. People keep looking at some different things, and I can tell the temperature's dropped a little bit outside. It's a little bit cooler in here, but again, 3 events to go, and should be fairly exciting. As I mentioned earlier, their state record is held by Gavin Van, set in 2017 of Bentonville West, in a time of 50.38. And then, since you said some trivia, Gavin Van was the first of any sport to win a state title at Bentonville West.
Yes, he was.
So did that in record time, and kind of an interesting trivia question there. But
good friend of my son Hayden, by the way. They grew up swimming together
and competed very hard against each other. I think
made them both better for sure.
Made them both better, and Gavin, that was his junior year. I think he won his senior year in that event as well. The backstroke will start in the water. They'll use a little foot wedge to keep their feet from slipping off the touch pad. Kind of pull themselves up. The feet have to be below the surface, and they can't curl their toes on the wall, and they push back. And you'll see the flags on the deck here. That just indicates they're 5 feet from the wall. A swimmer will time their strokes, and in my case, I will take 4 strokes from the wall when you see the backstroke flag. They can flip over for 1 stroke, or freestyle as they flip into the turn. Back when I swam, you used to have to touch the wall with your hand. Now they just went ahead and let them go ahead and flip that. It's a little bit faster.
Clean start, and we're off Heat 1 of the boys 100-yard backstroke.
Yeah, it looks like lane 3 is Joshua Chapa from Cabot off to the early lead at the 25. As you notice, they flip over there. Also lane 5, which is Gavin Blaylock from Conway, is also close. In there. You were going to say something, Scott? I kind of stepped over you there.
No, not at all. Is this considered the second fastest of the strokes?
I think butterfly is faster,
Is it faster?
But
Okay.
it's hard. In some of the events, the backstrokers, even though they start in the water, are faster. But in long course meters, you'll see butterfly being faster. I think with the kick and stuff, the 200 backstroke time is a little bit faster than the 200 fly time. But the 100, the fly is faster than the fly is a little bit faster in the back. So as they come in to finish, it looks like lane 3, Joshua Chapa. It looks like lane 6 out-touched him, 58.09. That is Daniel Manti at Fayetteville. Second in that heat, lane 4 was Simon Marat. Third, Joshua Chapa from Cabot. So if I look at the U.S. Open records in yards, Caleb Dressel's got the 100 fly at 42.80, and Ryan Murphy's got the 100 back at 43.59. So that would say that fly's just a hair faster.
Yep.
But the fact that they dive in, that would make fly a little bit slower actually in the water.
Right, yeah.
And then the 200 fly, the record's 137, and the 200 fly and 200 back's 135. So they make up for that after the start. So the 200 backstroke is faster.
Okay, heat 2 of 2. Lane 1, Maines from Springdale. Lane 2, Tisher from Harbor. Lane 3, Jake Noble from Bentonville. Lane 4, Gage Johnson from Bentonville. Lane 5, Stephen Dean from Bentonville. Lane 6, Nguyen from Little Rock Central. Lane 7, Andrew Rogers from Conway. Lane 8, McCallum from Little Rock Central.
Andrew Rogers, defending champion in lane 6, but it looks like Gage Johnson is out to the early lead, and he's getting a good challenge from Stephen Dean in lane 5. Stephen Dean flips first in 25.18 and 25.93 for Gage Johnson second. Jake Noble is third. As those gentlemen from Bentonville from the center of the pool are trying to keep it. It looks like Stephen Dean is ahead of Gage Johnson as they come into the final turn. Jake Noble coming off, and it looks like Bentonville's going to go 1, 2, 3, which is really important in the scheme of things here. Looks like lane 5 is going to win that, and that's 51.58. And again, lane 5, that's Stephen Dean. Second was Gage Johnson, the freshman from Bentonville, and third, Jake Noble from Bentonville at 53.19. Fourth in lane 6 was Matthew Guillen from Little Rock Central. Fifth, Andrew Rogers from Conway. And sixth in lane 8, Little Rock Central's Colin McCallum. So
looks like all three of those top 3 placers all had lifetime bests. Scott.
Yeah, they did. So Gage Johnson betters his state best of 13 and 14-year-old age group in the 100 back, but Stephen Dean, I think they swim on the same team together, really went out after it, and the senior, Stephen Dean, really wanted to win that one.
Yeah.
I guess Gage will get more chances next
no
year.
doubt about it. Next
year, maybe Gavin Lindley from Bentonville will get in there, but Bentonville going 1, 2, 3, so quite a few points there.
Yeah, I think Lindley is a 49.
Yeah, he is.
49.
And he is, a junior, so he'll swim next year for Bentonville High School. So if we look at the team scores, they haven't updated yet, but as soon as they update, we'll let you know. But Bentonville, a lot of points there, but also Little Rock Central moved up with both their times, coming in 4th and 6th. So
that's an important move.
So of course, the thing we keep refreshing, but it kind of duplicated there for a second. But
yeah.
Anyway, they haven't gotten the scores yet in the 100 back. We still have the 100 breast and the 400 free relay to go. And as soon as we have those updated scores, 20, 17, 16, that's 33. That's 53 points right there. So that's a lot of points for Bentonville, but Central should still be in the lead. But pretty exciting as we continue in this team competition.
There it is.
2 events to go. So we have Central at 318, 8 points behind Bentonville High School at 310. Conway, 224, solidly in 3rd. Bentonville West, 4th, 174, and rounding out the top 5 is Cabot at 152. So we'll see how that continues to go, but obviously, it's going to come down right to the end. As I look at my projections I wrote up based on the seeds, Bentonville is projected to score as many as 26 points in the 100 breast. That's what the seed times are, and Central only has 3. So it looks like they only have 1 swimmer. Let me double check here. Bentonville has 1 swimmer that's seeded 14th, and that's Little Rock Central. Bentonville's got they have Gavin Husband, who's seated 2nd, and they also have Hayden Carver, who's seated 9th. So based on that, Little Rock Central only has 1 athlete, so Bentonville theoretically could take the lead going into the last one. If they have more than a 6-point lead going into the last race, what looks like they might, they could still come in second and win the meet. This last relay is going to be close. I would have to think that Little Rock Central is favored in the last relay based on that they won the 50 free, they won the 100 free, and those athletes are awfully good.
Right, and just looking at the way they're seated, Little Rock Central seated with a 3:20.11, Bentonville seated with a 3:19.98. If that holds true, then both of those teams would have at least a 3-second advantage over the third place seed. So,
yeah. So basically 8 points down. If the form holds true, Bentonville's going to score by 20 points, have a 15-point lead going into that. But, we'll see what happens in there. Obviously no disqualifications. I'm sure that Liz Braun and Mark Gold are telling them, watch your turns, watch your other things. And
at some point I had to ask my swim Google to help me with math.
So based on I have a sheet here to hand you. So here's the points and as the results go. So first place is worth 20 points, and I just handed my partner that. But based on Bentonville seeded second, that would be 17 points, and Bentonville seeded ninth, that would be 9 points. So that's 26 points total. Little Rock Central would get 3 points. That's a difference of 23 points. That would put Bentonville in the lead by 15 points. And as long as they didn't get DQ'd in the last relay, they could be 3 or 4 spots behind Little Rock Central.
So it all comes down to placement compared to seeding at this point.
Correct. And let's say, not to put any pressure on the young man, but is it Joshua Buckman, who swims for Little Rock Central, seeded 14th. He's got a time of 106.27. He probably needs to move up. Duncan Troop, who's defending champion from Conway, Gavin Husband is seated second, but there's a couple people that are right next to him on there, and Duncan Troop's going to be hard to beat. He's defending champion. But Gavin Husband has been under a minute, and so based on that, I would say that it looks pretty bright for Bentonville with these last 2 events coming. But you talked about this. I remember at the meet in 2010, I was swimming, and I was watching. My son was swimming, and it came down, and it became apparent that I knew what the points were and everything. And everybody from Catholic and Bentonville were all standing around me, saying what was the points. And as it came down to the 100 breaststroke, Bentonville needed to win the 100 breast with Gage Crosby, and they did. And that put them within 5 points. But also, in the backstroke, they had a guy that had qualified 16th who moved up to 12th, and Bentonville came within 5 points of the lead. Steve Dool, who was the coach at the time, said we were 7 points down. I corrected him and said we were 5 points down, and that before if we won that, we won the meet. And so he told the swimmers, and it came down where Catholic had a lead with Sam Olson leading off, and it came down to Nick McCarthy and Pearson Jean to finish that up. Nick dove in with a little bit of lead, and Pearson didn't move on him at all. The first 75 had a good turn. If you remember back, Pearson broke his collarbone playing football.
Right.
And his turns and underwaters were great. And he came off that last turn and came off and just barely touched him out. They were both more than a second under the state record. And Bentonville won that meet by 1 point. So,
my goodness.
It was pretty exciting.
So many great swimmer names coming back from these stories, Scott.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of masters, Tom Jean, Pearson's dad, swims with him.
Right.
I competed against Tom in high school, and his brother David, who used to have several state records in Arkansas, long time ago. And their older brother, Roy Jean Jr., swam at Missouri about 10 years before me. They're all successful lawyers, and Pearson's now an orthopedic surgeon specializing on the shoulder. So, hopefully give back to some swimmers in the future.
Yeah,
Obviously,
no
he was
doubt.
number 2 in his class and a phenomenal athlete. But that relay, I think, was Gage Crosby, John Overstreet, Justin Potter, and Pearson Jean, and they touched him out. But Justin Potter had a great third leg, especially his last 25, came back to give Pearson a shot to win that. So
fantastic. It's the little things that add up, isn't it?
Yeah, so, we're going to see what's going to happen here. The breaststroke will determine it. We'll know going into the free relay what has to happen. But, the obviously there's 16 athletes, and we want to focus on defending champion Duncan Trop from Conway. He's a senior, and he's looking to make it 2 in a row in the breast. But we're kind of focused here on Bentonville, that's in both heats, and Little Rock Central, that's in seeded 14th. So those athletes are important, but we hope for everybody to be good swimming. Conway's in the battle for third, so they have, looks like 4 athletes in this, which is the max you can have in any event. So they're seeded 1st, 3rd, 11th, and 16th. So they're probably hoping to solidify 3rd place, and based on the superstars that graduated, that's fantastic. They're still in the mix. The other thing that you don't know is a lot of these kids, and you know, Jake Noble swam great here today, but he had contact tracing. He missed about 3 weeks of training, and
at least.
You know, some different things like that. So, you know, I happen to know what he did, but you know, there's other athletes out there that probably missed similar time. You know, just for different things. And in Jake's case, he never had the virus, but he was in classes sitting next to kids that did have that. So, you know, it's important to be safe, and we see the virus numbers going down, so hopefully that trend continues, and as more people get vaccinated, we can return to a sense of normalcy here, and maybe next year we can broadcast this thing without a mask on.
I'm sure the listeners would appreciate that.
Maybe they like it better this way, who knows?
Could be.
But yeah, and we're getting ready already for the awards. Athletic Director Scott Passmore is moving some tables and getting ready for some certain things. So this is a very exciting meet. It's very exciting for me to watch, and hopefully got a lot of people around the country tuning in and watching this online. Maybe whether it's former athletes that competed for some of the different schools watching. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast on the Tiger Sports Network, and you know, let us know if we can do better. But it's a pretty important race, the 100 breaststroke, and we have 8 athletes in the first heat, 8 athletes in the second heat, and coming right down to the wire here. So looks like we're just a few minutes away from this 100 breaststroke. The state record is held by Blair Bish, who started out at University of Arizona, finished up at Missouri State. He's from Little Rock Central. And Blair was an outstanding breaststroker, NCAA finalist, and ended up going 52 at Missouri State and Arizona.
Olympic trials qualifier, another one of those. Yeah.
Great backstroker, great freestyler, great breaststroker. So I don't think those gentlemen will touch that time, but Duncan Trop was the defending state champion. He, I'm sure, will give it his best shot. I was thinking about reaching out to Mark Lowell and Liz Braun with the scoring update, but I don't know of any coach that's more on top of that sort of thing than Mark Lowell.
I'm sure he's all over
And when I told him I had the scores and I had Bentonville projected to be down by 4 points going into the meet, and he corrected me and told me it was 2. So I probably made a mistake, and I would think he was probably right. Little Rock Central is getting behind lane 7 for, this looks like Josh Buckman, to give the race of his life there.
Okay, so as we come to the start of the first heat for the boys' 100-yard breaststroke, we'll go ahead and name them off here. In lane 1, we have Brumley from Catholic. Lane 2, Ashley from Catholic. Lane 3, Jordan Mosby from Conway. Lane 4, Hayden Carver from Bentonville. Lane 5, Schock from Fayetteville. Lane 6, Woodson from Springdale. Lane 7, Buckman from Little Rock Central. And in lane 8, Sam Kaplan from Conway.
So obviously the state time in this event was 105.92. It looks like 13 of those athletes made that state cut, and the last 3 were added. Little did they know how important they were coming into that race, but looks very exciting. And as we have 2 events left. Also, happy anniversary to my partner, Scott Harlow, and his wife, Tracy, 27 years. And
Thank you so much.
looks like the meet's going to get out on time for them to celebrate.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Clean start.
Yeah, Hayden Carver, the senior from Bentonville, is in lane 4. In lane 7, you have Buckman from Little Rock Central. Looks like lane 2 is out to early lead. That's Lawson Ashley from Catholic. But we're kind of focused on a couple of different swimmers. But out to a nice lead is Lawson Ashley from Little Rock Catholic. He's out in 28:06. Very good time. Followed closely by lane 4, lane 6, and lane 7. So he's kind of distancing himself from the field, hopes to move up here. And then lane 4, coming back to second half, is Hayden Carver, senior from Bentonville. He's in second right now. Looks like in about 5th or 6th is lane 6 would be Buckman from Little Rock Central. But it looks like this is going to definitely be lane 1:00:25, almost broke a minute. And that's Lawson Ashley from Catholic. Second, Bentonville High School, 1:02:71, and that's Hayden Carver. Third, lane 3, Jordan Mosley, Conway. Fourth, lane 6, which is Woodson from Springdale. And actually for 1 point in 8th place is Little Rock Central in lane 7. So they're only get 1 point here. Right now, if all things stayed the same, Bentonville would take the lead. We have one more heat here, and Bentonville has the second seed, which is Gavin Husband, but two-time defending champion is Duncan Trop from Conway in lane 4.
In the water for lane 2 of 2, we have in lane 1, Fulcher from Cabot. Lane 2, Booth from Bentonville West. Lane 3, Knighton Hill from Conway. Lane 4, Duncan Troop from Conway. Lane 5, Gavin Husband from Bentonville. Lane 6, Melton from Cabot. Lane 7, Jacob Hale from North Little Rock. Lane 8 is Bratton Ashley from Catholic.
Well, it looks like that Duncan Trop is in the lead here from Conway, but followed closely by Gavin Husband, younger brother of Ryan Husband, and looking to win that. Out in 27:04 is Duncan Trop. It's a great time. 27:5 for Gavin Husband. He's really going after it. The whole Bentonville team is behind his lane as they cheer him on. Lane 3 is close behind from Conway, but it looks like Duncan Trop is going to win this. Gavin Husband giving the best he got. Duncan's got a little bit better pullout, and that's where he's beaten Gavin. But Gavin's going to go under a minute and get his best time, it looks like. But Duncan Trop's going to make it 2 in a row at 57:10. Second place at 58:48 is Gavin Husband. So Bentonville will definitely have the lead going into the last relay. Third, Knighton Hill from Conway. Fourth, in lane 6, is Ozzie Melton from Cabot. Fifth, in lane 2, Spencer Booth from Bentonville West. And then 6th, rounding out the podium, in lane is Jacob Hale from North Little Rock. So looks like Bentonville's going to have a slight lead going into that. I'm sure that Coach Gohl and Coach Braun will tell them safe starts going into this last relay. Looks like Bentonville's in the lead by 17 points. So doing the math for you and for our audience at home, just so you know, it's 20 points for first, it's 17 points for second. Those points are doubled for these relays. So let's say that Little Rock Central won that, and they got 40 points. So Bentonville being ahead by 17, let's add that up. That'd be 359. So Bentonville would need 23 points. So Bentonville, last event coming up. So I was just, so I was just telling the audience that if Bentonville gets 8th place, Little Rock Central will win by 1. If they get 7th, they'll win by 1. That's if Little Rock Central wins. So I expect those teams based on that to be 1-2. I'm sure that Coach Gohl and Coach Braun are telling these guys safe starts, but it looks like Bentonville, after a few years absence, a 4-year absence, 2 wins by Little Rock Central and 1 by Conway, looks like Bentonville is going to come back with another state title. and continue the tradition of swimming excellence. So nothing's done. They still could false start, but Bentonville's got a 17-point lead going into this last race. So just to read you the seed times, I believe in this 400 free relay, we're going to have Evan Carter, Jake Noble, Gavin Husband, and Caleb Tong. I'm not sure which order they'll go in, but I kind of think Little Rock Central, even though they have a slower team, their times are within 13/100 seated. But you have Little Rock Central with Jack Henry Forrest, who won the 250. You have Yusuf Bagat, who won the 100, and then they also have Matthew Guillen, and they have a good choice. They also have Laith Aladami, and so that team is probably a little bit stronger than Bentonville's team. You never know. Bentonville's in their home pool. But I'm sure that Coach Gold, Coach Braun will tell the Bentonville Tigers to be safe on starts. And Little Rock Central, in my opinion, would be favored a little bit in this race. But we'll see what happens in the last relay. You always like to finish out on a champion relay and look at that sort of thing. So we look forward to finishing out on a high note. The state record, which I don't expect to be challenged, is 3:08:24, set by the Bentonville High School team of Hayden Harlow, who I believe led off in 46.2. Zane Sutton, he also goes to Penn State, I think went 46 high, 47 low, if I remember right. Hayden Dixon went 49.4, and Ryan Husband anchored that in 45.5 or so, if memory serves me correctly. But in general, was very impressive state record, and I don't expect these teams to challenge that, but you never know. I'm sure they'll push themselves to great heights, but it looks like, barring something unforeseen like a disqualification, that Bentonville is going to win their state title after a 4-year absence. But it looks like Bentonville today is going to win both the girls and the boys state titles. I think it was 14 in a row Bentonville won from the mid-2000s to 2017. So pretty impressive run. Had some different coaches in that run, and all of them have done a great job at Bentonville High School. So Mark Gohl looks like, he's won a couple girls titles, and looks like you have a boys title to add that. But Liz Braun, who's a second grade teacher in the Bentonville School District, also coaches cross country at Washington Junior High, also coaching a lot of these athletes out there. Mark's the head coach for the Sharks, but for Bentonville High School, Liz and Mark kind of do that together. So congratulations. We'll see what happens. It's not official yet, but just letting you know what is going to take place there. And been pretty exciting to watch, and another good state championship meet. And other than the fall start and 100 free, kind of went off without incident. So we're looking forward to this last relay and that concluding. So just based on what it is, we have 4 teams in the first heat: Bryant in lane 3, Harbor in lane 4, Catholic, Little Rock Catholic in lane 5, and Rogers Heritage in lane 6. Second heat will be Springdale in lane 1, Bentonville West in lane 2, Cabot in lane 3, Bentonville in lane 4, Little Rock Central in lane 5, Conway in lane 6, Fayetteville in lane 7, North Little Rock in lane 8. North Little Rock has some good swimmers as well, so they should be pretty formidable in the end lane. And Kevin Brumfield, Springdale, also, it looks like he might be leading off. Might give them a lead in the outside lane there. Bentonville West also has a pretty formidable foursome. But as we go into this last event, you have Conway, looks like they have third place wrapped up. Again, let me just go over all the standings. Bentonville High School is first, 336. Little Rock Central, second, 319. I think so. Conway, third, 269. Bentonville West, fourth, 187. Cabot, fifth, 173. North Little Rock, 141. Fayetteville, 125. Harbor, 116. Springdale, 111. Catholic, 79. rounding out the top 10. Bryant, 36 and 11th. Rogers, 32 and 12th. Northside and Rogers Heritage tied at 20 points for 13th. So I was just telling the audience, Scott, that if Little Rock Central wins this relay, which I kind of expect them to do, even though Bentonville seeded first, Bentonville would need to come in 7th place to win the state championship. So that would give them 40 points to 359. Bentonville would need, let's see here, 39, 20. They would need 23 points. So if you look at 24 points would be 7th place. So
Bentonville's coming into this thinking, okay, safe exchanges, no DQs.
Yeah, but looking at the teams, they both, you have Evan Carter and Caleb Tong that were 2nd and 3rd in the 100 free on Bentonville. You also have Stephen Dean and Jake Noble, which are 2 seniors, so 3 seniors on there. They're going to be bound and determined. Stephen Dean won the 100 back. He's going to be determined. And you have Evan Carter on there as well. So, Jake Noble is the one that I left. And so, but, Little Rock Central has got Jack Henry Forrest, who won the 50 free and the 200 free. You got Yusuf Bagat that won the 100 free and 46 mid. And then they have Laith Edalami, and he's placed pretty well. And I'm not sure who, maybe Matthew again, or in that last relay. But that's a pretty formidable relay. So it should be pretty close between those 2 teams. Bentonville probably a little bit safer on the starts, and as long as they finish 7th place or higher, they should get it. So Coach Liz just walked in front of us, and she was looking at Meet Mobile on her phone. So again, nothing gets by Mark Gohl and Liz. So I would imagine that they know exactly what needs to be done. I'm sure they've told their athletes what needs to be done.
Sure.
And we're just looking for an exciting race. I'm sure Bentonville would like to go out with a victory. I'm sure Little Rock Central would like to win this too.
Well, I mean, you mentioned here recently some of the former Arkansas swimmers that have been competing at the collegiate level, and I know Austin Mondello up in Colorado Mesa. We've got obviously Taylor Pike down at A&M, Haley Pike this week at Purdue up at the Big Tens, and I know next week we have Hayden Harlow and Zane Sutton up at Penn State in the men's Big Tens meet. There's just, and that's just some of the local talent. And we've got plenty of talent from Arkansas that's gone on.
Yeah, the Thomas girls at Notre Dame
Absolutely.
And at Navy. Lily Despain, I believe she's at Navy this year. You also have, I mentioned Bella Cothran from Jones Girls Swimming at U of A and represented well at SECs. You have Ryan Husband and Ty Wingert at Auburn.
And Taylor up at William Jewell.
Yep, Paige Taylor, and a long list. And obviously there's not just Division I, there's Division II, NAIA, Division III, and
Absolutely.
a lot of opportunities for, especially for young ladies on college swimming to get scholarships and things. With the track record of success, I'm sure some of these kids from some of these local schools will get an opportunity. As I said, Drury's had a long history of recruiting out of Central Arkansas. So has Missouri State, and so has some of the schools around there. But Mark Gohl on the NWA Sharks is really involved in the process and really tries to help the athletes pick the right school for them where they're going to succeed academically and athletically. So, not an easy process. Sometimes you have, I think Lily Despain last year, I think she's like third generation to go into the service academies or something. And I mentioned Mackenzie Shefchik earlier. She's third generation. Her older sister goes to BYU. And so, sometimes you have that tradition. But sometimes it's just athletes getting involved and looking at the process, and that process starts their junior year, and there's a lot of time and effort that goes into that.
Okay, getting ready to kick off the boys' 400-yard freestyle relay. Heat 1 of 2. In the pool for Heat 1 of 2 in lane 3, we have Bryant High School. In lane 4, Harbor. In lane 5, Catholic. And in lane 6, Rogers Heritage.
Yeah, obviously a couple good athletes here as we go into it. Looks like that lane 3, Bryant was a slight lead. Actually, it's going to be lane 5 flipping first, which is Catholic. Two kind of teams from Central Arkansas battling out in this heat, followed closely by Harbor and Heritage. So as they come up in 75, this is each swimmer swims 100 yards, 4 lengths to the pool, 16 lengths overall. And different strategies. A lot of times you'll put your best swimmer first. Sometimes best swimmer last. Mark likes to get out there and get some fresh water for those athletes and some different things and different philosophy. You might have an athlete that hasn't swum the 100 free, wants to get a time for the 100 free, and so they'll put that athlete first. As the first leg, Catholic leads that. In lane 3 is Bryant, who's second. And then in lane 4 and 3rd is Harbor. Heritage trails just slightly as they go into the second leg. Looks like the Catholics extending their lead. And very good swimmer there who's ever going the second leg here for Catholic is extending their lead. Looks very strong there. Very good kick, very high in the water, has a good turn. Looks like lane 4, which is Harbor, is catching Bryant a little bit. The Harbor Wildcats catching the Bryant Hornets, but in lane 5, Catholic continues to lead. As they turn it over to the 3rd swimmer, Catholic continues to have a lead, but that is Bryant is still in 2nd, Harbor still in 3rd, and Rogers Heritage still in 4th. That pretty good turnover from the athlete from Bryant to go into 3rd leg. He looks pretty good. Catholic continues to lead and extend that lead. Again, these times will count towards the second heat as well, and they're trying to establish the fastest time as possible to score points for their team. Looking like Bentonville, Little Rock Central, and Conway for to round out the top 3, but as they get into the last leg, it looks like Catholic is going to turn over a lead going into this last leg. And the last swimmer dove off the blocks, and it looks like they're going to win this heat. It looks like Bryant's going to be 2nd, Harbor's going to be 3rd, and Rogers Heritage is going to be 4th in this heat. But still about 75 for the lead swimmers left. And obviously, some of these swimmers that are seniors, this will be their last race. They want to finish out with a good time, and looks like they're giving it their best effort. So, as it looks like Catholic's gonna cruise in this first heat, looking like they're having a pretty good time. Going to beat that seed time of 3:35 as they come into there by a significant margin, and hopefully they'll move up in the last heat. But here they come into the finish. The time of 3:28.29 for looks like Catholic. That will be ahead of 3 of the swimmers' teams' times in the last heat. So they hope to move up with that. Second is Bryant, 3:43.67. Third is going to be Harbor with 3:52.45. And then last is, in this particular heat, or 4th, going to be Rogers Heritage as they finish it up. Come up in the last heat of the meet, I certainly want to thank the Bentonville Community Center for opening up the facility, Emily Tong, the meet director, all of the staff at the Bentonville Community Center, all the volunteers from Bentonville and Bentonville West, and my partner, Scott Harlow. It's been a very exciting meet and a lot of effort from a lot of people at the AAA to get sure and make sure we have a safe and fair meet for all the athletes concerned.
Likewise, Mr. Scott, and of course we thank all the individuals with the school district that helped put this on. Okay, in the water for the second and final heat of the boys 400 freestyle relay, In lane 1, we have Springdale. Lane 2, Bentonville West. Lane 3, Cabot. Lane 4, Bentonville. Lane 5, Little Rock Central. Lane 6, Conway High School. Lane 7, Fayetteville. And lane 8, North Little Rock.
Looks like Bentonville's out to a lead. They're really going after it. Mark likes to lead off to lead swimmer. So 23:02 at the feet. Not sure who that athlete is, but it might be Jake Noble.
Might be.
He looks pretty good as he's going out there, and he's got a lead. Little Rock Central is a little bit behind. Bentonville wants to finish this in style and wants to win this. I'm pretty sure that's Jake Noble leading that off.
Looks like his stroke.
Yeah, and lane 1 is second. That's Kevin Brumfield leading off for Springdale. Little Rock Central is third. As they let it off, 24. That's a 46:84 for that lead swimmer, Jake Noble. Great time.
Yep, you could tell that was a very clean transition there to the second swimmer. They made sure that.
And it looks like that might be, looks like Caleb Tong maybe, or no, I'm not sure. No,
can't quite tell.
Might be Evan Carter. Who knows? But Bentonville continues to lead. Got a lead. The second swimmer for Little Rock Central is gaining a little ground. Springdale, who was in second, is now giving way to that. Also in third is Cabot in lane 3. So Bentonville has got a pretty large lead as they come into it. Going to turn it over. Looks like maybe Gavin Husband's going to go next here for the Bentonville Tigers and try to extend that lead as he goes. And really safe start, really slow. But
very safe, yeah.
That is what they want. And Bentonville is in first. Little Rock Central is in second. So if this holds true, Bentonville's going to win another state title after a 4-year absence back at the top of the podium. Bentonville High School is ahead. Little Rock Central is in second. In third in lane 3 is Cabot. And fourth in Springdale right now. In fifth, lane 2, Bentonville West. Sixth is Conway. Seventh, Fayetteville. Eighth, North Little Rock as we go in there. We have 125 yards to go as Bentonville makes the third turn on the third swimmer. And going up to the last swimmer here. Looks like that might be Stephen Dean, but I'm not positive here. But here they come into the last swimmer. And it looks like Bentonville is going to go out there. Very slow start. He waited till he touched before he even moved.
He did,
so obviously Mark Bull and Liz Braun told him that, and I think that's the way to go. To see if he can hold it. Looks like Little Rock Central might catch him. But I know they're not going to get disqualified for a false start because he took his time getting off the blocks. That looks like it's Jack Henry Forrest going last for Little Rock Central. He looks like he might catch Bentonville.
Might catch him on the turn.
Yeah, he's going to come up. But Bentonville's still going to win the state title, although it's neck and neck as they come into this last turn. Cabot's still in third. As they come for home, looks like Little Rock Central with a slight lead. They are not going to break the state record. Looks like Little Rock Central is going to win this. 3:15.78. Oh my gosh. So Bentonville second. 3:15.78 to 3:16.58. So pretty close. Third was Cabot. Fourth in lane 1 was Springdale. Fifth in lane 6 was Conway. Seventh is Fayetteville, and eighth North Little Rock. So that's going to be another state title for Bentonville. Had they pushed the start slip, they probably would have won that. But
yep, agree. So I'm gonna part ways here, Scotty. Thank you so much for all your color commentary today. We'll finish off thanking our sponsors: Jimmy John's, Centennial Bank, Farm Bureau of Arkansas. Thank you to all of you who support Arkansas high school swimming.
And Jimmy John's. So thank you. We'll try to see if we can get a word with Mark Goll or Liz Braun. Thanks for all you for tuning in, all the comments. And for my partner, Scott Hallow, I'm Scott Halliburton. And congratulations to the Bentonville Tigers boys and girls teams on 2 state championships today. So congratulations to them. We'll see if we can get a word from one of the Bentonville coaches coming up. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in, and God bless and have a great day. Try to get one of the coaches over here. What? You want me to get one of the coaches to interview? I can if you want me to. I texted them and told them to come on. We're just waiting on the official results, which will happen. We'll know. that? We're done? Okay. I did. I can announce the final scores real quick, but it hasn't become live yet. I'll do that as soon as it comes up. Okay, I got it. You want to go to me? You want me to go? Yeah. Okay. We have the final scores here, and Bentonville High School state champion with 370 points. Little Rock Central second, 359. So Bentonville won by 11 points. Conway third, 297. Bentonville West fourth, 213. Cabot 205 fifth. North Little Rock sixth, 159. Fayetteville 149. Springdale 8th, 141. Harbor 9th, 128. Catholic 10th, 101. Bryant 50 was 11th. Rogers High School 32. Rogers Heritage is 30. And Fort Smith Northside 14th. So congratulations to all those teams, and congratulations to Bentonville High School Tigers on another state championship. Again, this is Scott Halliburton signing off. Thank you for listening.